Hello, what's up tonight, everyone? Welcome. Fine Thursday to you all, and modern day to y'all. Good to see ya. What is up, Dylan Hunter in Swiftwolf Gaming's and Tuka Buddy and Stone Raid and Ameriber and Zyre and Starhopper? How is everyone doing today? So today, we're heading to Modern to to play some Snakes. So I found this deck not once but twice from the same person show up in infamous small Japanese tournament results. And how can you resist playing literally Snakes, the Snake tribe in Modern? So we're gonna do a little snaking in Modern. On one hand, I can see how this deck can win because it has a lot of really good cards. Like this pile is like just really good Magic cards. Actually, also the removal is really good. But then backing up the really good Magic cards, we have a whole pile of Snakes. We have Scalding Viper, our newest snake. We have Coiling Oracle, a snake that ramps. We have Ice Fang Waddle, a snake that draws cards. We got Shishiro, the Anointed Snake Lord, that also works like a Toski for snakes, but it costs 6 mana. So that's the plan for today. We're gonna do some snakes in Japan. Snakes in the Snakes on a Plane. Is that still a thing? I never actually saw that movie. Is that movie worth seeing? Ghost, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big Super Jeffrey, thank you. We also have our first super early leaky look at our new Ixalan set, Lost Caverns of Ixalan. So I'm gonna show this card. If you don't wanna see a leak, then you can avert your eyes for like a couple minutes, but I'm very curious how strong you think this card is. So this showed up on Reddit recently. Yes, I did get your email, JB. I haven't responded yet, but I did see it. I just, I've been busy on other stuff, but I will get back to you, I promise. So here's our first look. I'm curious how good you think this card is. Oh my god, this name, Cavallino, First of the Blessed. So 3 mana 2/2, Legendary Vampire Cleric. Whenever you attack, not when it attacks, when you attack, targeting attacking vampire that isn't a demon becomes a demon in addition to its other types, and it gains, when this creature dies, draw a card and create a 4/3 white and black vampire demon creature token with flying. My first impression when I saw this card is, wow, that card is actually like really strong. Like, doesn't that seem very strong? But then I realized I made the cardinal sin of evaluating Magic cards in 2023. And that is, I didn't realize this little set symbol down here, LCC. So it's not a standard card. It's a commander card, which makes me a lot less excited about it. It's 3 mana, 1, a white, and a black. So three mana in Orzhov for a 2/2. If it was a standard card, I think this card would be really, really good. In Commander, it's still fun and fine, and you'll throw it in a Vampire deck, but the fact that it's not in Standard made me a little less excited for it. It's still kind of a cool design, though. Like, you attack with anything, and you get this, like, very powerful death trigger of upgrading your creature and drawing a card. Yeah, it would have been such a cool Standard card. Lucid, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super review, thank you. All right, let me see. I'm looking right now, JB, at your Stone Rain's channel points ideas. See which ones of these you like, Jess. So these are some of Stone Rain's ideas. Seth pronounces a word. That's actually a really good one. Pronounce a word for some amount of points. Add an option to the Against the Odds poll. That's a cool one. Seth makes a short song on the blood guitar. That one would have to cost a decent amount of points, but I do like that. The blood moon guitar deserves more action. Plays a game with your deck. Add or replace a card in a deck. Goldfish donates to charity. Ooh, that's a cool idea. You can enable predictions for a game. Bear CC appearance, maybe once per stream. Feed the bear. Oh man, Bear would love that one. Those are some really good ideas, Stone Raids. I like them. Those are really good. Seth dresses up like Gingerbread Man or Santa. I mean, I do that anyway, so you get to pick Seth's pet on Arena once per hour, get to pick his sleeves. Those are all really good ideas. Why are you not a streamer, Stone Rain? You have so many good channel point ideas. Maybe it's because you're an expert and you have more channel points than anyone in the history of Twitch. How about redeem and show an album you own? Ooh, that could be fun. Well, let's do our reminders and talk. Did you actually used to stream, Stone Rain? Did you stream Magic or other things? Ooh, hair down. Pick the shirt. Yes, that would be a good one. Seth orders and eats anchovy pizza. So here is the truth of where I live. Is there is literally one place that'll deliver to me and I refuse to eat from it. Tell me if you would eat from this place. So there's one pizzeria that will deliver to me, but I went to that pizzeria and I got a slice of pizza one time. This was a few years ago, and I bit into it and it tasted really weird. I was like, it must just be me. So I took another bite and I realized it tasted like some sort of cleaning product. And I actually ended up vomiting and it was so bad. I got so sick. Apparently, I don't know how they did it, but apparently somehow they got cleaning products mixed into the pizza or set the pizza in a cleaning product. So ever since that, I just try to avoid eating there unless I can really, really help it. You just never know. You never know. Respublica. So all that to say, one of the downsides of where I live is it's really hard to actually order food because there's just no option. There's no DoorDash or anything. Respublica, welcome to Standard Needs Sinkhole. I can get behind some Standard Sinkhole. Thank you for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. So yeah, ever since that experience, I try very hard not to order from them. But that makes it hard to order anything because there's just no options. Let's do reminders. Replay YouTube. That's where you'd find all the old streams, including this one in the future. Normal YouTube. Tons of stuff coming up on the YouTube. Tomorrow we're playing Standard, and the deck is really cool. It's a card. I'll tell you what the card is. All right, I wanted to build a Lich Knight's Conquest deck ever since the card was spoiled. Lich Knight's Conquest is such a cool card. It can reanimate so much for 5 mana. So I finally decided to build Lich Knight's Conquest. The challenge of Lich Knight's Conquest, if you don't know Lich Knight's Conquest, and we have a new donation and a bunch of gift subs. Let's look at all these. Thank you so much, everyone. We have a ton of gift subs from Urborg, Luragoy, handing out gift subs to The Cleveland, Rubber Kitty, TZ, Lord Boyos, and Jable McBooties. Thank you so much, Urborg. Welcome y'all to the Fishbowl. And we have a new donation from McCurry, $11 donation. Hey Seth, did you see this Naya Lotus Field modern deck? Seemed pretty sweet. Is this one have Zakama? Ooh, I remember a deck like this from a long time ago. I don't know if we ever played it, but Zakama definitely caught my eye. Zakama is so cool. This might be our backup deck. This deck does look really sweet. I think we're gonna start with Snakes, but maybe our backup is some Naya Zakama up a beanstalk action. But anyway, thank you so much for the donation, by the way. Yeah, thank you so much for Burglar Life. And also, of course, McCurry's. Super thankful for the donation. But anyway, I want to build around Lich Knight's Conquest. The challenge of Lich Knight's Conquest is if you just want to reanimate one big thing, like a Trox or whatever, you should do it with Cruelty of Gex. If you're just doing one thing, this is a bad reanimation spell. The power of this can be a Rise to the Dark Realms. This can be reanimating your entire graveyard if you build around it. So I think I figured out a combination of creatures that you can reanimate in Standard that can win the game on the spot without attacking. So that's the idea of tomorrow's deck. Trying to not reanimate a Trox or a Tally, any of that silly stuff. Trying to reanimate this very unique combination of creatures that when they come into play, kills the opponent on the spot, no attacks necessary. The deck is actually really good too. The deck, oh, it's so sweet. It's a good one. You're gonna like tomorrow's Much Brew. Long Nap, it's Serenaduke. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup for you. Thank you. And Purple Source Rex, welcome you as well. Big soup for all of you. Everybody that are sponsored today is Card Kingdom. And if you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Maybe you need some Doctor Who or a Temporal Mastery. Academy Manufacturer. Who doesn't need an Academy Manufacturer? And get them all at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. So thank you to Card Kingdom for supporting the show. I've been trying to find a nice Soul Cauldron deck, exiling Geth to get cheap reanimation. Ooh, Soul Cauldron is just such a fun card to build around. Are we playing Solemnity today? We played Solemnity on the YouTube yesterday. Today, we're snaking. We're actually playing... we're full on playing a snake deck in Modern, and that's at least our starting deck, is Modern Snakes. Do you have an LGS in your area? Just curious. Not really. There's a couple of little hole in the wall local game stores that don't really have or do anything. It's more kind of like the little clubhousey local game stores where it's just a handful of people that are friends of the owners. So there's a couple of those type of places that are a half hour away, and then there's some bigger local game stores that are an hour away, but nothing super local, unfortunately, which is part of the reason I don't play more Paper Magic. Hey Seth, long time no see. Made a new mono black historic deck. You got 8 Owen Diamond. Ooh, what does your deck look like? Oh, let me see Temporary Theory. Hey, what's up, Nalaki? How are you? Good to see you. Bitter Ending. Ooh, Bitter Blossom I think has more potential in Historic than it has gotten credit for so far. I think it's actually pretty good. Also glad to see no Bowmaster. One thing I've realized about Arena players in the last few days is my god do they love Bowmaster. You can nerf it into oblivion and people still play it like crazy. Now this is a janky kind of deck I like to see Seth pilot. Well, we're about to see Seth pilot it. So what is our deck for today? It is Modern Snakes. So why would you play a bunch of snakes in Modern? The big answer is Shishiro the Anointed. Shishiro the Anointed, hey Nesmith, for the 81st month. Welcome back to the Fishbowl. Thank you. The streak is back on though. We're at 1. We've restarted it. Thank you for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. I want to say thank you so much for your hard work. I really enjoy your content on YouTube and the podcast. Well, thank you, Sinner and Deuce. Thanks for swinging by. I appreciate the kind words. So this is why we play a bunch of snakes. Shishiro is an old Kamigawa card. 6 mana 3/4, gives our other snakes +2/+2. It's a double lord, and when a snake deals combat damage to a player, we get to draw a card. So essentially, in the early game, we're just playing snakes. We get our new snake, Scalding Viper, then Adventure can bounce something and then becomes a snake that maybe deals a little damage. Coiling Oracle ramps us and is a snake. Ice Fang Quaddle draws a card and is a snake and maybe gets Death Touch. So in the early game, we're just kind of like playing snakes, maybe removing things with Leyline Binding or Prismatic Ending, and then eventually we're going to get to the One Ring to draw a ton of cards, to find Shishiro to make our snakes huge, and kill our opponent on the spot. So this is a deck that I'm actually... Ooh, what is Force of Negation? Force of Negation is Modern Force of Will, essentially. So it's like Force of Will, a free counter spell, but it's got some restrictions. It only counters non-creature spells, and you can only cast it for free on your opponent's turn. So 3 mana negate, except you can cast it for free by exiling the blue card from your hand if it's your opponent's turn. Tarmogoyf flows. Very true Twitch username. Thank you for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. Do you fishy fellas ever read the over-under articles on EDH Rec? What are the over-under articles? No, I've never read them. I know what an over-under is. It sounds entertaining. You should link me one. I'm curious now. There's no way snakes work in Modern, right? This isn't it. We're about to find out. So that's the deck. Play snakes, play Shishiro, play One Rings, win with snakes sideboard, chalices for a cascade, veto for control and combo, endurance for graveyards, charge them up for lands, subtlety, dress down for creatures, flusterstorm also for combo and control. So let's jump into a Modern League and do some snaking. No Cavern Front Counter Bro snakes. Currently, no. Should we add one? Like I said, this was a... Do I have a cavern? If I have a cavern, I'll add it. If not, we're going to run it because I don't want to go borrow one. I do not have a cavern. All right. No cavern. So this is a deck. I noticed this deck because it was played in 2 different infamous small Japanese tournaments. The same player played it, two different events, and ended up top 8ing both of them. So either they're really good with snakes, the events were really small, or maybe Snakes is just broken in Modern and no one knows it yet. Hello, are you live? I always saw your YouTube videos. Can you say hi to the Philippines? I am live, and hello, Philippines. Hopefully everyone is doing super well. Wow, that's like the other side of the world for me. I think Philippines might be about as far from where I am as you can get in the entire world. Very, very close to as far as you could get. What is your absolute favorite creature that's accessible on Arena? I'm curious. Favorite Arena creature? That's actually a good question. I'm tempted to go Elesh Norn Mother of Machines just because I love my Panharmonicons, but I don't know if that's actually true. What is my number 1 Arena creature? I mean, maybe it's Elesh Norn. I also have this huge soft spot for Satyr Wayfinder. Satyr Wayfinder, it's not even like a great card or anything, and it betrays me constantly, but for some reason, those value E2 drops, they're so hard to resist. Magus of the Moon, not on Arena. I'm sure they'd ban it if they added it, unfortunately. Ooh, Siege Rhino. See, I think I'd put Elesh Norn ahead of Yarok at this point. Siege Rhino, that is also a really good one. I kind of forgot about that. Sheoldred. Maybe it's just Sheoldred. Sheoldred's busted. They do a review of predictions each year. I'd be interested to see your takes on the result of some of those. Ooh, that's a super cool idea. Yeah, we do some review of our prediction podcasts. But I'll have to look into theirs and see the structure of it. What is your favorite arena creature? Hey Seth, do you see the email I sent about Agatha's Soul Cauldron combo for Against Odds in Modern? You could make infinite hasty 2/2s as early as turn 3 without any ramp. That does not sound familiar. When did you send me the email? How recently? Do you have the deck list? Wait, I might have found it. Oh, okay, let's see. I think I found it. So I play Standard and Arena, never played Modern, but I thought of an infinite combo that could be hilarious, but maybe not competitive. But I feel like you'd enjoy it. You need, let's look at this combo. You need Agatha Soul Cauldron. So we know what that does. That steals activated abilities. First day of class is a thing that gives everything haste, I believe. Everything ETBs for a turn. Okay, first day of class. And Krenko Mob Boss. Ooh, we're doing some goblin comboing. So you need some goblins, then you need Krenko under the cauldron, then you play first day class to start making goblins. A single goblin with a counter would tap to make one. First day, of class would put a counter on it. I like it. You could actually do that all in like Arena too, couldn't you? Those cards are all in Historic. That's a really cool idea. I will keep that in mind for an Against the Odds somewhere, because that is a neat idea. We're going to try this. We got Coiling Oracle. How bad can life be with it? That's actually a really cool combo. First day of class to put the counter on things to give everything the ability of Soul Cauldron is actually really sweet. That's a really neat idea. Good evening to the man, the myth, and the legend that is up to Deaglefish. You're a beautiful person. Hope you're feeling gorgeous today. How are you? Tuesday is the week I celebrate 20 years of sobriety. Sober Robert, congratulations. That is a ridiculously huge accomplishment. 20 years is a really, really impressively long time. So huge congratulations to you. Super exciting. We gotta get Elesh Norn. I mean, I do love me some Elesh Norn, but we are a bit away from actually using it. There we go. What are we doing now? Let's Flooded Strand. Flooded Strand, pass. Our opponent might be, Yogging? Nurturing Peatland, Delighted Halfling makes me think our opponent may be Yogging. Wall of Roots, all right, opponent is definitely Yogging. Ooh, but missing lands? Okay. So we have a forest. If we get Xander's Lounge, we have red, green, blue. We have everything but white. If we get Rugran Triome, that's definitely better. All right, let's get the Rugran Triome. Untap. Draw Misty Rainforest. How do we do this? So we can't force a negation, a Yogg. We can Leyline Binding something. We could just Coiling Oracle. And then if they go land Yogg, we Subtlety it. Pitching force a negation. That seems fine. Let's do that. Let's get our snake value. We came here to snake, and snake we will. Jaguar, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup here. Thank you. All right, well, Teferi's good for pitching to things. I know, we need a Barrett CC emote. We definitely do. The Cardboard Samurai, welcome to the Fishbowl. Opponent does hit the land. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup here. Thank you. Is this really Yogg? All right, another Wall of Roots. Sure. And Bowmaster to kill our snake. Agatha Soul Cauldron. How bad is that? Is that bad? Is that bad enough that we want to pitch a Teferi? Do we even care? There's nothing in the graveyard. Whatever. That's fine. What's the worst that can happen? Can you pitch the Viper to force? No. In our hand, it's only... unless I'm missing something. In our hand, it's only a red card. This is an interesting turn now. Can I roll my S like a snake? No? Maybe? How do you... Give me an example. Snake? Is that it? Am I doing it? I don't think we have to answer this. We would like to avoid dying. Our opponent doesn't currently have if we bounce this, we still have the... Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so we're going to... Misty Rainforest. Crack the Misty Rainforest. Windswept Heath. I feel like I'm very bad at that. Let's take this mana, my god. Hallowed Fountain untapped. Run out a Teferi because we're crimming at the moment. Run out to the Teferi bounce the Delighted Halfling. Take you off the double black mana, draw another land, pass the turn, subtlety at the ready. Slithery Snake. It's a slithery snake. About it. Elven Chorus. Look at the top card of your library. I mean, cast creature spells from the top of your library. Yes. So we would prefer our opponent not to do that, I think. That would probably be bad. Opponent plays a Dryad Arbor. I mean, we have this Leyline Binding. Not much else going on, though. We have 2 Leyline Bindings. Well, take up the Teferi. Play the Misty Rainforest. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Well, I guess we just pass. If our opponent does something, we can Leyline Binding. If they don't do anything, maybe we can get down Mom and like quadruple Leyline Binding. I'm really hoping MH3 does something to pump these Yankee S-tier creature tribes. That is the original state intention of Modern Horizons. It was so fun. Give me Zubair or something else. I know. That's my dream too. That is what I would like to see. That would be the perfect way for Modern Horizons. 3s. What's the magic card that has a lot of S's in it? Stone Range. Strangle Rootgeist. Opponent. Gonna Strangle Rootgeist, sure. Yogg decks are not nearly as scary if they don't have a Yogg. Without a Yogg, like, whatever. Do what you gotta do. With a Yogg, they become very frightening. Oh, is this Aldrich? Ooh, Court of Calling. Okay. Okay. Oh, boy. What do we do? This is not good. We're going to crack the Misty Rainforest. Scheming Symmetry. We'll get a Xander's Lounge. We will Leyline Binding to get rid of the Strangle Rootgeist. I mean, this is definitely not good for us. But our opponent also, like, they can't go that far, right? Like, oh, I'm totally... Wait. Really? Okay. They're going for Grist. Wait, are they trying to, like, Grist combo? What is happening? Okay. I am so confused. Opponent's going to sack the Dryad Arbor. They're going to destroy a Sumar Teferi. Oh, they sack the Grist. Wait, are we dead? So opponent, everything's a Grist. So we need to Leyline Binding to get rid of the Soul Cauldron. Yeah, we definitely can't let that happen. As cool as going infinite with Grist and Egg if the Soul Cauldron is, we would prefer to live. Given the choice, living seems ideal. Yeah, that's one of the tricks. So Soul Cauldron, it just gives all the abilities of a creature exiled that way. Grist is technically a creature in the graveyard, so all of our opponent's creatures with counters would have the loyalty abilities, and you can activate them even though they're creatures. It does work exactly the way you would hope it would, and we would hope it wouldn't. Let's get a land. We're gonna get down. We're gonna be greedy. We're gonna play the Elesh Norn. Mother of Snakes. Take up the Teferi. Pass the turn. Opponent's only got 1 card in hand. They have a single card. We answered the combo. What is the worst that could happen? Opponent. Can't we just bounce the Cauldron or reset it? The problem is they would be able to activate Activate the creatures right away. I mean, I guess we could wait. I don't know if we want to let our opponent get the immediate value, though. Opponent. Oh, they also have... All right, they also have Yogg. Well, let's see what you can do, opponent. Opponent going to pass. Minamo. Well, Teferi. Bounce Yogg. Step 1. Get it out of here. And then we begin the snaking. About it. We get to play an instance of sorceries. Well, I guess you're right. I don't believe in playing Teferi. Oh my god, double snake. Okay, so Ice Quad will draw 2. Hopefully hit a green source. Oh, Shishiro. Okay. And Teferi, play Minamo. Play another Teferi. Teferi. Bounce the Delighted Halfling. Ooh, Leyline Binding, but we can't cast it. Get in and hit you with the Elesh Norn. Things are actually, as long as we don't get randomly combo killed, things are actually looking pretty good. Opponent taps. We know they can replay the Yogg. But that's okay. We are playing some modern snakes. Yes, we are. Really, truly. Snaking in modern. All right, Yogg returns. Yep. They've almost killed their walls. So I guess that means they can sack them to draw cards. Okay, opponent finds a young wolf. And... oh, if opponent passes here, they're so in trouble. Oh my goodness, opponent passes. Well, take up the Teferi. This Leyline Binding might be the end of our opponent. Leyline Binding. And opponent scoops it up. Snakes. Too strong. I like that we can bounce our own enchantments to get 2 triggers with Elesh Norn. Yeah, that is a nice little synergy. Hey, Goldfish, can you take a look at this deck? It's super interesting, and it shouldn't be able to win, but it can. Those are my favorite kind of decks. Wait, is this all 1-drop Commander? That's a spicy idea. I don't know if I've ever seen a literally all 1-drop deck before. So it's like 1-drop tokens with Reese. I mean, it's got Mana Tide, so I'm sold. I am sold. Oh, that looks super cool. I like it. Sabo's Assess to the card with the most S's in the market other than market research Elemento. Sabo's Assassin. I gotta stop doing this. I gotta stop. Tog's my favorite. I'm actually very hyped for Modern Horizons 3. Scared, but also very excited. I feel like Wizards had to have learned from Modern Horizons 2, right? They had to have learned. I think one thing I will say about Wizards is they do often learn from their mistakes. And if Modern Horizons 2 is considered a mistake, or some of the cards are considered a mistake, I think there's a good chance that WotC will actually change course. I think that's likely. So I'm actually feeling surprisingly hopeful that it might be a positive overall. Yeah, do we want a subtlety? Subtlety, go down to Fairy, something like that. Let's try something like that. They learn that their mistakes make them lots of money. I mean, you're right, Lucid, you're right. I mean, I guess you have the competing incentives. Like, you got some players complain about Fury or whatever, but then you have huge Scrooge McDuckian piles of money. Have you seen the Grist Mirror Sculpting Cauldron build combo modern deck? What is Mirror Sculpting? I didn't even know that was a card. I'm gonna look it up. Mere Scrappling. Sacrifice it, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Oh, is this infinite grist plus ones? Yeah. There's a few different ways with Cauldron. Another way to do it is have a metallic mimic on the battlefield. But yeah, there's a few different ways. We were talking about this with grist earlier, but if you can get a grist, under an Agatha Soul Cauldron, and then have a way to put a counter on the insect creatures that grist plus one makes, like a metallic mimic or the mere scrappling, you can plus one your creature that is a grist to make an insect. That insect will get a counter thanks to metallic mimic or the scrappling, and then you can plus one that new insect, which will also have grist abilities and make infinite insects, and also mill your deck, I guess. I don't know about milling your deck if that's actually like a positive, but you do make a lot of insects and then win. It is a really cool combo. We'll keep this. This is fine. Hey Seth, with the release of Doctor Who, I was wondering, could time travel become a Decudius mechanic, like proliferate in real Magic sets in the future? This would open up the design space for a bit named abilities that of cards with time counters, a little bit like we got many name mechanics that deal with +1/+1 counters. You know what? I'm gonna let me look up Suspend on the Storm scale. I'm actually curious how WotC views Suspend. I think my perception, I'm curious also what your perception of Suspend is, chat. My perception of Suspend is that it's like really busted or really awkward. So I think they could. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure, is Suspend the kind of mechanic they can do all the time? Like, so one thing about Suspend is the zero, they gotta stop doing the 0 mana value cards. Like, those end up just being always like super duper busted. So I think those cards have been proven to be probably perhaps a tiny bit too good. So if we can play this, bounce this, and then our fetch land can get us all the missing colors. Yeah, let's do that. So Hallowed Fountain untapped. Do a little steam cleaning here. Bounce that strangle root, guys. Pass the turn. Riftbolt. Yeah, there's some really cool. There's really cool Suspend cards. But the mechanic, wow, it has actually like a ridiculous amount of grades. So a lot of 8s and 9s. A lot of 8s and 9s as far as the actual mechanic returning. So the thing I would say about, yeah, I don't know if, so I think time traveling is a cool mechanic, and I could see them using it again. Not sure about Suspend being like evergreen though. I think the Suspend would, wow, double hit. I think the Suspend is most likely to still be a pretty infrequently used mechanic, would be my guess. I think we just gotta pass here, unfortunately, and leave up our Leyline Binding. I look like I'm covered in snow. Wait, is my green screen not working? Good old green screens. Wall of Roots. Opponent. Time travel cares about anything with time counters, all right? So it's Suspend and then Vanishing? Vanishing's the other one it cares about. I wonder where Vanishing is on the Storm scale. They're very weird mechanics that we have not... I guess the reason I'm curious is we just haven't seen them used, right? They're like very, very infrequently used. So I wonder... So if we take green... We can't... Oh, this is bad. All right, well, we're going to take a Xander's Lounge. We're going to Leyline Binding to get rid of this grist, which is killing us. Still very awkward mana. One ring. Snow-covered forest. Well, snow-covered forest, and run out a Coiling Oracle to draw a card. Okay, it's a Leyline Binding. That's something. Actually, you know what? Let's just... If they have exactly Yogg, then I guess they get us, or a way to tutor up Yogg. Pass the turn. Double Snake on the battlefield. What do you got? if MH3 has a similar impact as MH2, then isn't it possible that Modern ends up pretty much being all MH in fire design cards? I mean, just look at this deck. I mean, Modern is already that. we have already got to that point. So yes, if MH3 is even more like that, it'll continue to get worse. But if you look at the most played cards in Modern, they're pretty much all cards from the last couple of years. Like, we actually have data on this. You can look at the numbers, just look at the actual list. This is especially true of creatures. Creatures in specific. Spells, there's still a lot of older spells that see play. But in the realm of creatures, it is almost oh boy, this is so bad. It is almost exclusively new cards. Yeah, I think we're dying here. We really need to draw the One Ring. Even if we draw the One Ring, I don't know if we survive. It's not like we have some combo kill or something. We're getting out aggroed here, really. Come on, deck. One Ring. One Ring gives us a shot at least. Another Endurance. Endurance is not the One Ring. Oh, play the land. Are we dead? We may have been gristed. But here's a list of the most played creatures in Modern. We've looked at this before, but if you look at it, top 10, Fury, MH2, Bowmaster, Lord of the Rings, Endurance, MH2, Ragavan, MH2, Sheoldred, Dominator United, Grief, MH2, Voidwalker, MH2, Subtlety, MH2, Haywire Might, Brothers War, Solitude. The top 10 has all been printed since MH2, and if you scale out even further, like Crocs is a new card, I guess Ballista, is maybe old at this point because it's 2017, Omnath, Murktide, Elesh Norn, Shardless Agent, new to Modern, even though it's been around a while, Delighted Halfling, Charge Ball, Modern Horizons, Sanctifier, Modern Horizons, Turok, Modern Horizons, Brazen Borrower, Original Eldraine. That's like the top 25 creatures. They are almost exclusively cards printed in the last couple of years. So, yes, I think Modern Horizons 3 has potential to make that even worse. But I also think that Modern is already essentially that. So I'm not sure in practice, like, how much it changes. Like, if maybe it's a positive at this point if they release 5 new cards that... If they release 5 new cards that shake up the format, maybe that's good at this point because it's already so Modern Horizons 2 dominated. One of the reasons I don't like Modern now, what do you like now, Naz? I know in the early days of the stream, but you've been here 81 months. 81 months of subbing. Thank you so much. But you've been here for a long time. You're one of the OG stream viewers. What formats do you play now? Because I remember you used to play a lot of Modern, right? Like, wasn't that your main format? Psychologist, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. On to game 3. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you. Grist is pretty good. Seth, since the change in standard, have you seen a drop in prices because sets are out more? I have not seen a drop. I mean, this is a very, very recent change, but no, have not noticed a drop in prices because of the changes. There's actually a question. It might be counterintuitive, but I think the change is more likely to make standard go up in price if Wizards doesn't change things than go down in price. Because it's very strange. And like I said, a little bit counterintuitive, but the way they print Magic sets generally is they'll release a set and it'll be actively printed for like 6 months or so. And then after that time has passed, it's not really restocked and reprinted. So there'll still be boxes out there, but they're not actively printing more, let's say Brothers War at this point, because it's a year old. So that's normally how they do it, is they'll keep reprinting and reprinting for 6 months, 9 months. And then after that, they're on to the next thing. So I think if anything, having an extra year of sets in standard, my fear would be, all right, they're not printing Innistrad Midnight Hunt anymore because it's 2 years old now. Let's say there's a world where they print something in Ixalan that makes, I don't know, Ren in 7, the most busted card in Standard, or like Arlen Paxhope, the most busted card in Standard. It seems like there'd be potential for the price to spike a lot because there's not going to be active boxes out there. Although maybe in the current world, they've just solved this by overprinting everything, because they were just like fire sailing Innistrad Midnight Hunt boxes on Prime days yesterday. So maybe they just printed so much of everything it actually is not a concern in practice. But I don't expect the change to make Standard cheaper. I think in theory it can make Standard more expensive, but I don't think that'll actually happen. A majority of my collection is modern staples from pre-MH2. I prefer paper magic over digital, generally speaking. Historic is neat. I wish Pioneer was more popular. I think it has room to grow still. Commander is okay. Penny Dreadful is fun to brew with. Pioneer, I think it'll get there someday, right? I feel like Pioneer is a format that will eventually get there. It's not maybe there yet, but I think Pioneer does have room to grow. I would agree with that. I do think I don't know. I wish they would more actively manage it, I think. I wouldn't mind seeing, like, mono green change. Even though, like, the data is not bad. It's not like the format's lacking in diversity or whatever. It's just, that matchup is not fun to play. Pioneer's so strange. Healthy, but not always. The matchups are not always enjoyable to play, in my experience. Ooh, dress down. Why is our opponent doing nothing? That's very odd. Let's play a snow-covered plains and I mean, I guess we're just passing and we can dress down if they try to Bowmaster or something. So if we dress down, this does nothing, right? Do we even care? Yeah, I mean, I guess we care. Actually, do we? Does this even matter? Rorik's Venture, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank ya. It gets dressed down next turn. Basically, all we're doing is killing the orc, though, right? The question is it better to wait for the turn when they play Yogg? I think we wait. Like, eventually there's going to be a turn where they play something like Yogg, and this dress down could be really valuable. So I think it's better to wait and try to get more value out of it. About it, combat. It's us. Also possible that we want to play it after we play the One Ring to deal with... Oh, don't grist us. Always with the grist. Just don't double hit with the grist. Alright, Strangleroot Geistmill. I wonder if this deck could use a Wrath. A Wrath seems like it'd feel good here. Well, play Manamo. Pass the turn. I think it's Subtlety's time to maybe shine. Opponent. Ticks up Grist. Mills the Twilight Mire. Big attack. We will take it down to 14. Young Wolf. And passes? Really? Really? All right, well, I guess we should have counted the Young Wolf then. I was really hoping we'd get something better than Young Wolf out of it, but we got to run it out. Go to combat. Attack the Grist. $14 is just not that much life. Not that much life. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Play a One Ring. Get protection. Play the land pass the turn. When are we going to do another old modern deck and see if it can hold up in the current meta? What's a good suggestion, Badger? So we played like quite a few old modern decks, but I do like revisiting old modern decks. If you got any ideas, what would be another fun one to revisit? There's the Strangleroot Geist. Oh, what we would give for a Wrath. Farewell. Where's our farewell? All right, well, we're gonna crack this. Sadly, I think we have to draw with the One Ring, as awkward as that is. Get a Triome. So we draw with the One Ring. They grow... Ugh. They grow the Orc. All right, yep. Draw a card. It's a Solitude, at least. Blue Trod. Blue Trod would be a sweet one to bring back. I do like that idea. Bluetron might be really good, actually. Well, go to combat. Attack the Grist. Get it out of here. Play. We have an elemental of like every color. Play the land. Oh, this is such a risky spot. Do we just pass? We can dress down. Draw a ton of cards. We can bounce the Bowmaster, draw a ton of cards. How do we not die, though? We're just taking so much damage. That's the issue. Wait, if we dress down, we can evoke elementals and they stick, right? Okay, let's... Okay, we gotta plan. We got a plan. I don't know if it's a good plan, but we got a plan. We got a plan. Opponent and tabs. So our plan here is we're gonna dress down to make creatures lose abilities. We're going to draw a bunch of cards with the One Ring and hopefully play a bunch of Evoke Elementals and have them not be sacrificed because they don't have any abilities. So we will dress down. Draw a card. We will draw with the One Ring. We will make blue. Untap the One Ring. We will draw with the One Ring. We will evoke an Endurance. We will invoke a Solitude. We will play a Ice Fang Coatl. Okay, that was a cute turn. That was a cute turn. And we will block you and block you and block you. Hey, what's up, Doug? How are you? That was... I mean, we still might be dying to our own One Ring, but that was pretty sweet. That was a pretty sweet turn. Kisa, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super chat for you. Thank you. All right, you know what we would like to do? We'd really like to draw another One Ring, like right now. All right, we're going to lose 3. Coiling Oracle. Well, go to combat. Actually, okay, we can Prismatic Ending. Oh, we have to not die. How do we not die? All right, One Ring. No fear. One Ring. Oh, One Ring is so busted. Oh my God, we had another One Ring. Okay, now life is like super duper mega good. Things were bad, but now they're good forever. We will Prismatic Ending this insect token. Yeah, that was a hit, I would say. We'll go to combat. Hit the Grist. Hit our opponent. Hit the Grist. Gain a bit of life. Wait, can we untap the One Ring and draw again and then One Ring? Oh, that's so brutal. Oh, we'd have to lose a lot of life, though. And discard a lot to hand size. You know what? We're not even going to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just play another One Ring. Because we're playing Snakes. Get protection again. Pass the turn. Why is this? Why is the One Ring a card? Why is the One Ring a card? Why? Hey, how are you, Great Destroyer? Good to see you. How have you been, Doug? How's the Commander channel coming? About it passing. Well, crack the Flooded Strand. Get a Hallowed Fountain tapped. Draw with the One Ring. I mean, we do have to win before we run out of time. That is true. One Ring hits us. The Solitude's life gain has been nice. Let's play Beseiju. Go to combat. Get in with the Solitude. Get in with the... Yeah, just the Solitude. Get in with the Solitude. Opponent's going to trade. We go up to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Play a Elesh Norn. 1, 2. Do a little snake in. Coiling Oracle, double trigger. Coatl. And a Twara. Well, we'll pass the turn. Dress down at the ready in case our opponent tries to shenaniganize. I play strictly Commander, and I ask all the time how the One Ring is a card. Oh my, yeah. I'm so annoyed. I spent $200 on lighting and audio, but the free tripod I got wasn't good enough, and the phone mount I have less optimal than the other one I actually need, so I'm delaying of making stuff again. Aww. Is there any rigging it up or not really? Okay. So opponent has a Yogg. How bad is this? Do we need to dress down? Yeah, whatever. Go ahead. Yogg away. Opponent. Passing. Well, let's draw with the One Ring, because we have no fear of death. Plus, we're going to hit more One Rings. Play a Leyline Binding. Get rid of Yogg. Get rid of Delighted Halfling. All right, opponent's going to do a little combo in. We do have to not time out. Not timing out is essential here. Timing out would be very bad because we're super close to winning. Opponent, sacks, draws, sacks. Counter on subtlety. Can we do it without timing out? Hey, what's up, Zaire? How are you? I mean, it's going well, but we are kind of racing the clock at the moment. All right, we untap. 2 minutes on the clock. We lose life to the One Ring. Down to 6. We draw with the One Ring. Oh, there's Shishiro. We don't have a snake at the moment, but that is a Shishiro. Well, go to combat. Attack with everything. See what our opponent does. Opponent blocks. Drops to 9. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. One ring again, of course. Pro everything, because we don't want to die. And then 1, 2, 3. Play it to Fairy, because it's a very fair card. Bounce the Dryad Arbor. And play a Breeding Pool. Untapped. And pass the turn. Discard. Oh god. 1 minute 35 seconds. It all comes down to this. About it. It should protect from the clock, right? Pro everything should include the clock, technically. Opponent, Strangleroot, guys. Dryad Arbor. I mean, we have these Shishiros to pump our snakes. Green, blue. Run out the Iceman Coatl. Draw 2 cards. Untap. One Ring triggers. So, white, blue. Scalding Viper. Bounce the Strangleroot Geist. White. Exile the token. Go to combat. Swing with everything. Opponent blocks. Well, we are just going to pass. We're going to pass. I think we're good. With 54 seconds on the clock. About it. They only have 3 lands. Like, how does our opponent get out of this? We can even subtlety the first creature they play. So I think we snaked them, technically, right? Opponent, Verdant Catacombs. Cracks it. Down to 2. And so what content were you going to make, Mega Magikarp? Shield Rid. Yes, we would like to avoid that. Let's subtlety. And this should do it, right? Put the Shield Rid on top. And opponent scoops it up. And that was pretty good. I have a suggestion for episode of Command Clash podcast. What are some cards that you should always play off curve? Ooh, that is a really good one. Oh, it reminds me of like the tireless tracker trick. How like a lot of times you don't want to run out tireless tracker on turn 3. If you wait another turn, then you can take and play the land and get the treasure or the clue right away. That's actually a really cool topic. I like it. I like it a lot. That's a really good one. Eternal Witness. Yeah, you probably don't want to play that. Oh, there's got to be fogs, any sort of Teferi's protection, anything like that. Sneak attack, you want to have the mana to activate it. Soul Ring, that would be a good one to debate. Do you play Soul Ring on curve? I think Soul Ring's very contextual. It depends on your hand, really. If you're gonna play something powerful the next turn, drop it on turn 1 and just be arch enemy and go for it. If you don't have a good follow-up though, I think playing Soul Ring is actually a mistake. Well, I have a question for it. That's a really good topic. Yeah, I know. It's the streamer tax as far as time. Questing Druid's another one. Yeah, I will pitch that to the crew and see what people think. Oh, did you see Mark Rosewater was asked about Aftermath? How likely are we to see another epilogue set like Aftermath? I will say pretty unlikely. Aftermath, I guess that's not a surprise. I would expect Wizards' answer to be that. But are you surprised at all that we're unlikely to see more Aftermaths? Honestly, like, I hope that the lesson Wizards takes from Aftermath is not don't print more Aftermath sets. Because I think the epilogue idea is actually kind of cool, right? I like the idea of it. I like the idea of like, okay, here's this set, and then here's this mini set to tell a little more of the story, to follow up on what happened, add some more cards. Like, that's a neat idea. I actually think that's a really good way of keeping Standard fresh, as weird as that is. Like, what they do with Alchemy, and I hate to make this comparison, because I know it's so loaded, because some people just really hate Alchemy, but the idea of, like, you have your Standard set, and then once things get stale in, like, 6 weeks, release something else to shake things up. I actually really like that idea. The problem is Alchemy was, I think, just like the 5-card boosters. It was so redundant, and they didn't price it at a meaningful discount. So you're paying like normal price for these mini boosters. We're opening the same cards over and over. So I think that was the issue. I don't think it was like that it was a follow-up set or whatever. Like, I don't think that was a problem with Aftermath. It was the leftover part. Oh, also, did you see the 3 pig cards for Alchemy? I feel like that was such a miss. I really wish those cards existed in paper. I would so build a 3-pig commander deck if I could. Aftermath was an experiment to see how big a price increase would sell with smaller numbers of cards per booster pack. I wonder how much that matters. Like, how much money do you think Wizards saves by removing a card from a booster pack? Let's say they went from, well, obviously Aftermath was like a huge decrease. They went from a ton to none. But let's say it was a smaller move. Let's say they went from, what if they cut one card? What if they cut one card from a bag? I wonder how big the bottom line change would be. Because I heard this stat the other day, which was just some random fact. One of the big airlines, I want to say American Airlines, they realized that if they they would give an olive in the drink of their first class customers. And they learned that if they cut one olive per drink from just the first class customers, it saved them like $40,000 a year or something. Like, so this little seemingly insignificant change actually ends up being a ton of money. I wonder if you remove one piece of cardboard from a booster pack, if that ends up being a ridiculous amount of money when you consider all the booster packs that are sold. So maybe like maybe Aftermath was like way cheaper for WotC to make. Yeah, Nissi is a little pricey because of the awfulness, isn't she? Let's just, are we scared? Is this just Yogg again? Everybody Yogging? I think our best bet here is actually just Scalding Viper, Steam Clean the Halfling, Kind of want to hold on to the Oracle for now for Force Negation pitching just in case. Next turn we can like Viper and Leyline Binding. And then in the future, we're going to play the best snake, the One Ring. A lot of companies got one article from a pack. You got 5 in a pack instead of 6. Isn't that like what, shrinkflation they call it? Like rather than increasing prices, you just cut back a little bit and hope that no one notices. I feel like that happened a lot a year ago. I was reading all these articles about like Doritos took 3 chips out of their pack rather than increasing prices. So now you get 3 less chips. I'm not sure if they could remove any cards from pack for pre-release reasons, but maybe since pre-release packs are different, they could just make them very different. I mean, who's gonna know if they cut 3 Doritos from your pack? Who is that on top of the number of Doritos in their pack to actually even notice? I wouldn't be. I would have no idea. You could totally get away with it. Do we die if we tap out here? Maybe, but I really want to hit a land. Yeah, what's the worst that can happen? Coiling Oracle. How about just sending us a land, Coiling Oracle? Oh, that is actually pretty excellent. Okay. It hits us a land, so we can crack the land and play the Leyline Binding if we have to, and then we get down the One Ring and then do very dirty things. Hey, what's up, Beam Juice? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Is this Yogg? No. Grist? Is this the same opponent? Grist again. Grist again. Opponent gonna take up Grist, do some Grist things, Mills Beseiju, which is good because we're gonna play this Leyline Binding. I mean, we're okay. We're doing okay. Young Wolf. Wow. Another delighted halfling. Well, crack the Misty Rainforest, get the Hallowed Fountain untapped. Leyline Binding away the Grist. Alright, Snakes. Alright, Snakes. You got it. You're good. You're good. We're fine. We're fine. Scalding Viper number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. One Ring. Play it. Protect it. Draw a card in case it's a land. It's not past the turn. Yeah, Grist is a creature, technically. Need a Essence Scatter. How does Reese's Peanut Butter Cups cut back? 3% less peanut butter? About it. Oh, so here's something I've been puzzling over. I was thinking, I want your opinion on this, chat. So, has WotC gotten less of a sense of humor over the years? So I was thinking about unsets randomly for no reason. I think about a lot of weird random Magic related stuff, but I was thinking about, oh my God, chill with the Grist. I was thinking about unsets, and I realized that the early unsets, and I know the early unsets, they were 20 years ago or whatever. Some of the jokes didn't age very well, but one of the aspects of them that I really liked is WotC kind of like made fun of themselves a bit. Like, maybe one of the best examples is like, look at me, I'm the DCI. With the classic throwing the dart blindfolded at the dartboard with a beer in the hand. Ban 1 card other than the basic land for the remainder of the match. Few understand the DCI's rigorous decision-making process. It's just like so self-referential and funny. That's like, it's really like WotC could actually make fun of themselves. Like, you could imagine in this era of there being like a Pringles joke on a card, like a foil, like a Pringles foil or something. Like they used to be able to laugh at themselves. And then I was looking at the more recent unset and I was like, it's fine, but you don't see anything like that. Like it's definitely not like poking fun at some of their mistakes and foibles. Has WotC lost its sense of humor? Is that just the cost of becoming like a huge corporation? Like you just can't do stuff like that anymore? R&D Secret Lair, that's one of the other like most funny ones, isn't it? That was one of the other ones I was going to mention. That one's from Unhinged. R&D's Secret Lair. Legendary land. Play all cards as written. Ignore all erratas. Adds a mana. Let them complain. As long as the addictive ink is working, we can do anything we want. Isn't that funny though? Oh, you think it's Hasbro? It might be a Hasbro thing. In some ways, I kind of miss it though. Those are the jokes where Wasi pokes fun at themselves that I actually kind of miss. Um, hmm. Kind of want to hit lands, although we have the One Ring. So how bad can things be? Oh God, I guess the answer is actually pretty bad when you think about it. So now what? Are we dead? So we can only do one thing? I mean, I guess we can leyline binding plus something. But all we have is this Coiling Oracle. So, all right, let's... All these force negations not looking great. Let's get rid of the Grist, because that's an issue. Let's... Ugh. Play to Fairy Bound Strangleroot? That feels bad. I mean, I guess we Prismatic Ending the Strangleroot? This is bad in a lot of different ways. Get rid of the Strangleroot. Pass the turn. Oh, no lands is making this very difficult. Opponent untaps. I mean, opponent's only got 2 lands, but we got triple Delighted Halfling. Hey, Saf, do you remember the first card you got from a Magic pack in real life? Oh, man. Oh, that's a really good question. Oh, so my journey into Magic was very... Oh... My journey into Magic was very different than I think a lot of people's, because I didn't start playing opening packs. My intro to Magic was from a roommate in college who had like a bunch of cards that he showed up with one day from his mom's house. So he just had this huge box of like, I guess it was his collection from high school essentially. So it was just this big box of cards. So I didn't actually open booster packs for quite a while into my Magic career. I mostly played with those cards. Yeah, so I played Magic for a long time, like a few years, I think, before I started actually like opening booster packs. So for me, the most nostalgic card isn't something I opened from a pack. I remember the first card that I was really enthralled by in the mechanic was... All right, yeah, doing Yogg things. Was Eon Storm. Eon Storm, many of the cards that we had to play with were from original Mirrodin block. Eon Storm was this absolutely horrible against the odds enchantment. It's a 3-mana red enchantment. You can pay 2, remove a +1/+1 counter or a charge counter from a permanent, and shock something. So I built this Arcbound charge counter deck. It was so incredibly bad, but I will always have a special place in my heart for Eon Storm. So I think Eon Storm would be the card. Like, I didn't open it from a pack, but that's my like first card that I really like did things with. It made me fall in love with Magic. So I think that would probably be my answer. First time catching the stream and watching on the replay, having really enjoyed listening. If you could look at my Mac Titan deck and see if there's anything I can prove on. Hey, let me see Icy Ruin. Did I know at the time that the box would be my future? No. I would have never guessed. Not in a million years. I never set out to make Magic content or anything. It just kind of, it happened very organically. I didn't even know. I remember being a kid growing up and talking to friends and being like, oh, you know, it'd be so cool. Like, because this is like Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, like that era, like, and be like, oh, you know, wouldn't it be so cool if you could like play video games for a living? And your parents, of course, at that time, video games, you know, stop playing video games. You got to get a job, like that kind of stuff. So it was like the entire concept that you could have a career that involved a game was completely mind-blowing. Wouldn't even have thought that was a possibility. Funky Monkey Beats, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super chat for you. Thank you. Oh, in Eon Storm, it would be so bad, but it would be fun to revisit just for nostalgia purposes. It definitely is not of a power level to keep up with 2023 Magic cards. Yeah, drawing all three Force of Wills, or three of our four Force of Wills, is not ideal in this matchup. Going to have to sideboard those out. So we can... Does this even keep us alive? 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, technically. So we can play Teferi. Play Teferi. Use Teferi to bounce the One Ring. Use Teferi to bounce the One Ring to stop the damage. Play a Leyline Binding to get rid of the Yogg. And I mean, this is what we got. Technically, we are not dead on board. About it. Gonna do some sacking to draw some cards. If they hit another Strangleroot, guys, I think we just straight up die. I will look at your Voltron deck just a sec. Let me finish this turn, and we'll take a peek. All right, opponent gonna sack the Young Wolf. Get back the Young Wolf. Yogg is pretty good. Not a bad deck. Opponent sacks the Verdant Catacombs. I mean, if we somehow steal this, that would be pretty impressive. I mean, if we can survive a turn, the One Ring can protect us for another turn. All these Force Negations, though, looking so clunky. We have a new donation from Lucid, $3 donation. I'd love a video stream of the quintessential U deck. So like balances, Winter Orbs, Blood Moons, Eon Storms, your whole Magic history in one insane vintage deck. My cube has been that for me. Ooh, that would actually be fun. I wonder would other people enjoy it? I always wonder with something like that. Would this be enjoyable for other people, or is this just like a nostalgia thing for me? But that is a cool idea. Maybe I just got to build a cube. Maybe I got to build a cube. All right, opponent's trying to fetch. Let's look at this. Let's look at this deck. Ooh. Oh, we're literally Tronning in standard. Okay. Mine Worker, Tower Worker, Power Plant Worker. Ah, such a flavorful. I wish they made these cards just a little bit less expensive. Like if they were just a little... Maybe knock a mana off each of them or something. I think they're priced for limited. They must be priced for limited rather than constructed. I mean, I think that Kayla's Reconstruction is a good way to find them. Mac Titan is a spicy payoff. I mean, so I would say, to me, this deck looks a little split in focus. So, to me, I play a lot of against the odds decks, which means building around janky cards. When I look at this deck, this is like a double against the odds deck. I'm seeing a Mech Titan core against the odds deck, where you're trying to do this cool, unique, kind of challenging to pull off thing with Mech Titan. And then it's also kind of this Tron against the odds deck. So I wonder if this might be a case of like, too many spicy, cool things in the same deck, if that makes sense. Like, I wonder if it's two decks. Maybe instead of one deck, this is two decks. And it would be better to focus exclusively on Mech Titan core in a deck and maybe play more vehicles, more cantripy, artifact creatures, more removal, and then have a separate deck that was the... Try to win with the Power Plant Worker, Tower Worker, Tron stuff. I wonder if that might be the way forward. Because it seems like it's going to be tough. There is some synergy. Like, Mech Titan does want artifact creatures. So I can see the synergy there. But the Mine Worker, Power Plant Worker, Tower Worker plan... I'm just not sure if it's good enough to support Mech Titan. So I imagine that might be a little bit of the clunkiness. It is a cool idea, though. But I might look at trying to make it two decks instead of one. Did you see the playtest cards, Command Power Plant and Command Mine? Oh, I didn't. What are the Command Power Plant and Command Mine? Trivia, without Google help, what does POG stand for? POGs is those little coin things, right? POGs? It was like a game? No? Is it abbreviation? Wait, are we talking about Pogs the game, or is this like an acronym? Opponent replays Yogg. Can we get out of this? Opponent gets in, hits us with the insect. Are they not Pogs? Pogs is the game, right? I remember that. Elf is back in Pog form. Oh, Elf. Oh, God. My mother unironically likes Elf. It must be something about growing up or something. I don't get it. But the other day, she was telling me I watched. Oh, did you know there was a new Elf? There's a new Elf I watched on YouTube. There's like a new Elf, and it was really good. And I thought she was talking about like Will Ferrell's Christmas special. Like when I hear Elf, that's what I think of. And it took me like 10 minutes to realize was talking about like the alien Muppet, which is apparently a thing old people like. Elf. What a weird concept. What a just odd concept all around. Well, let's play a One Ring. Still wish we hadn't drawn all the Force of Negations, but what can you do? So we don't die immediately. That's good. Play a Flooded Strand. The One Ring really slows down the game. The more I play this card, the more I think it was a bit of a mistake. Like, because what we do here, like, our opponent, they can't kill us right away, right? So our opponent can't kill us because we have the One Ring. So we draw with the One Ring. We draw with the One Ring. Next turn, we draw with the One Ring, play Teferi, bounce the One Ring, replay the One Ring, and we just keep trying to, like, not die for as long as possible. We're not really winning. I don't know if we even can really win from this position, but we can keep ourselves from dying for a bit. Egg of the Soul Cauldron. No. That's bad for us. We will counter that. Force of Negation. Fine. Why can't it be countered? Oh, ha ha ha. Force of Negation not paying off. Just kidding. We didn't actually want to counter that. Delighted Halfling. Okay. Yeah. I guess we should have read the card. Yeah, that is legendary check. It's like the chalice check. Opponent, do you remember that your card was legendary? In this case, the answer is yes. Boom. Let's draw with the One Ring. Draw another One Ring. Untap. Lose a life to the One Ring. Sure. We draw Shishiro on our empty board. Well, we'll play... Actually, let's do this. Let's draw with the One Ring. Draw some more cards. Fair and balanced magic. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play another One Ring. Opponent. Here we go. So now I think we die. Court of Calling X2 to get, I assume, a Blood Artist. We can't force a negation during our turn. So I think we're dead. Yeah, the problem is we're going to die to Blood Artist, though. Yeah, there's a Blood Artist. All right. The One Ring and Bowmasters were mistakes, but I really like Jim Davis' opinion that the memory issues across formats has totally eclipsed any benefit of trying to rebalance rather than ban and print a new version later. Wait, is Jim's take it's bad to rebalance? I am also on the... I've talked about this before. Elvis Yuga, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. I've talked about this before. I've kind of come to grips with alchemy cards in Historic. I can play Historic and just ignore them, and it's fine. Not a big deal. Yeah, I mean... I don't really like them. I have a different vision of what the format could be. But the rebalances actually bother me way more. The rebalances absolutely drive me crazy. That is the worst part of it now. Riddle me this. If players can be affected by things, for example, you have Hexproof, Enchanted player, how are their cards that say whenever you attack, I'm not the one attacking, only my creatures, right? So 8 only should only trigger when I turn myself sideways during the declare attack step and tell my opponent I'm going to punch them, right? Oh, Cat Camp fan, I like the way you think about Magic. Oh, Magic's rules. If you think about it too hard, it starts to fall apart sometimes. That's one thing I've learned about the Magic rules. Magic, the game is so good, but it's so sprawling and there's so many interactions. And if you really think about some of the wording, it does end up being a little bit ridiculous. Does the card reprieve from Lord of the Rings see play like people thought? It does see play. It doesn't see like a huge amount of play, but it does see some play. What are your opinions about the rebalancing of the One Ring and Bowmasters on Arena? Definitely necessary. Those cards were incredibly busted, and they should have been rebalanced. Personally, I'm not a fan of rebalancings. I don't know what Wizards is. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what their plan is, because they said they didn't want to rebalance. They wouldn't rebalance iconic cards. Apparently, they also said that they wouldn't rebalance Lord of the Rings cards, although I still have not researched the source of this. So if that's not true, blame Twitter and other people for saying that that's what Wizards said, because I haven't actually looked up the streamer or whatever to like find the quote coming from Watsy. But so I'm just very confused, basically. Like, I can see what they want to do with rebalances. I can see what they want to do with rebalances. It's like, okay, we power up some stuff that's not good enough. This is too good, so we got to power it down. But changing like the cards that are most heavily played across multiple formats, just ban them. Just ban them. I would rather just ban them. I think it would be better if they were just banned. For Alchemy itself, I don't really care, dude. Do what you do. I don't play Alchemy. I play Historic a lot. I don't play Alchemy, though. So in Alchemy, do what you want to do. Like, if you want to rebalance them for Alchemy, whatever. Like, for the people who play that format, do whatever is best for them. I don't play it, so I don't really mind. But for Historic in specific, I think the rebalancings improve the meta, and I'm glad they did something. However, I think it would have been better if they just banned it. On Arena, Bowmasters is worse than Paper on Moto. Blank Goblin is worse than Paper. There's no save space. 2023 Magic. 2023 Magic. Can't stand spellbooks. My job's not to memorize 30 card sideboards and click through them for my non-functional Mac interface. I don't think you're supposed to know what's in spellbooks. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, is you're actually not supposed to try to know what the options are, which is hard for a Magic brain to comprehend because we're so used to like thinking about that stuff and min-maxing. But I think Wizards does not want you to think about it. I think Wizards wants it to be random. I think they just like, okay, like a thing's going to happen when I do this and I'll figure it out as I go along. Because there's no way you can memorize the spell books for all those cards, and then the percentages of like hitting them, like that's way too much work to get a random common that's not actually that actually good anyway. That's so much space in your brain that's being taken up by something that has such minimal impact. So the only thing that makes sense to me is Wizards didn't actually want people to try to do that, and instead expect people to just kind of YOLO it. I want to spend 70k points on pineapple pizza. Oh, I don't have a way to get pineapple pizza. Actually, pineapple pizza, it's horrible, but I would be fine. Like, I could survive eating a pineapple pizza. I could survive a pineapple pizza, no problem. A anchovy pizza, that is a whole nother question. I do not know if I would survive that. Odds of survival, not good. I still don't believe that the anchovy pizza is a thing that people actually enjoy eating. I really don't. I don't think that's, I don't know how that could be true. If there was something I could fix in Arena, it would be adding an option to choose the same target or action for combo decks. I'm surprised they haven't done something like that, because they actually figured out a way to do it on Moto. It's not perfect, but it's something that like you can kind of automate full combos depending on the combo and like the actual interaction. So we know that they have the technology, but for some reason it doesn't work on Arena. About it. Cracks the verdant catacombs. I accept there being anchovy lovers. I refuse to believe there are many of them. I mean, I got nothing against anchovy lovers. The heart wants what the heart wants, and if your heart wants anchovies, then good for you. Not for me though. Ugh, that taste. I still have nightmares about it. I still have nightmares. It was so funny when we did the donation stream. We did the donation stream where I had to eat all the anchovy pizza. I survived. I did not vomit on stream, which was good. That would have been embarrassing. But all my little brothers like, oh, it can't be that bad. So I made them try, and every one of them spit it out. No one actually survived the anchovies. So never had anchovies. Oh, beam juice. Keep it that way. Keep it that way. You are a lucky person. I never would have had anchovies, but it was for charity, so I guess at least it was for a good cause. But my goodness. So I think what we do here is we're just gonna bounce. We're gonna bounce the Soul Cauldron. Boom, get it out of here. Pick it up, and then play Minamo. And then get down Snake number 2, Scalding Viper. Scalding Viper should deal some damage. Like, our opponent's deck is essentially all stuff that costs 3 or less. So it should be triggering on pretty much all of our opponent's spells. I guess we're the aggro deck now. They have anchovies available in my local pizzeria, not brave enough to try. Good choice. Bet's Pizza is double calzone with mushrooms and herbinoli on the side. What's the difference between a calzone and stromboli? Anyone know? I always wondered. Is it one has sauce in them and the other one doesn't? I feel like I always just say calzone, but sometimes I might actually mean stromboli. Opponent. Soul Cauldron. Plant token. Well, we will untap. We're gonna try to win in time. We're gonna give it our best shot here. Well, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Play Teferi. Teferi. Bounce the Soul Cauldron again. Draw a card. We're getting there. I think it's working. We can get in for 3. We really need Sushiro to speed up our clock. Mona Exiles, sure. Scalding Viper. Well, get in there. Hit ya. Opponent. Down to 14. Well, play the Temple Garden, pass the turn. All right, opponent. Calzone unfolded. Stromboli is rolled. Oh. See, I didn't actually realize that. Yeah, we probably need... This feels awkward, but I do kind of want this Teferi to live. Giving all of our stuff flash for next turn seems pretty good with this hand. So get rid of the Young Wolf. All right, opponent. Yogg on an empty board is not as scary. I wish our clock was faster. What's the best pizza topping? Opponent. Gorda calling X2. Bowmasters. Snipes the Teferi. Well, there goes our keep the Teferi plan. We draw 1 ring. Well. Let's 1, 2. Get rid of the Bowmaster, because that is a bit of an issue. 1, 2. Bounce the Orc. Get in. Hit ya. I'm sure someone's already asked, but when are we going to see the new modern deck, eggs deck with Beseech and Face Reward? I'm always nervous about playing eggs. Back in the early days of Budget Magic, I built Budget Eggs, and I played it for Budget Magic, and at the time it was the least popular gameplay video ever made, and I learned that day that people just really do not like eggs. They don't like eggs. So ever since then, I have often avoided playing eggs, although maybe I gotta get over it, and we gotta just play it. Opponent down to 9. The Scalding Viper, the little bites are adding up. Ooh, another Scalding Viper trigger. Opponent down to 8. There's a Haywire Mite. Okay. Opponent passes. We untap. We draw Leyline Binding, which isn't bad. Well, we'll go to combat. Get in with the Coiling Oracle. Opponent. I mean, this one's all up to the Viper. Opponent's going to block. Sure. Scalding Viper number 2. And pass the turn. Opponent gonna exile a land. Hey Seth, can I get your opinion about an infinite combo? Do you think that one of the ones that will win on the spot are fine, or is that not cool at all? So give me an example, Starhopper. Are we talking Commander first? That's question number 1. Are we talking Commander 60 card formats? In 60 card formats, combos are okay, period, every time. If you're playing competitively, combos that win on the spot, they're great. In Commander, that's where things get a little bit dicier and more contextual. Go to combat. Do some attacking. About it. Come on, Scalding Vipers. Opponent's gonna block. Sure. Make a mana. Uh-oh. Take Numa. Mills. All right. Yep, well, they will trade. Opponent exiles Prismatic Ending for some reason. Sure. We're going to be a little greedy. We're going to Leyline Binding to get rid of the Haywire Mite while your opponent's tapped down. And then we're going to cast a One Ring, because the One Ring's busted. Get some protection. I mean, I think we're going to win this. Can we win the match without timing out? That is a whole nother question. Leyline Binding, pass the turn. Sit back. Wait, so what format? Sorry, I got distracted by our game here. So I do think we actually had a discussion on this week's Commander Clash podcast, which was not about this primarily, but it came up about combo in Commander. I kind of think that combos should be more accessible in Commander, more accepted in Commander. So people often say no combos. I don't want to play against combos. I think, or at least I hope what they're saying is, I don't want to play against like really fast Thassa's Oracle, win the game on turn 2 style combos. I hope that that's what they mean, because that makes a lot of sense, and I think that is actually very good feedback. A lot of people don't want to play against that. At the same time, if you're doing like a 3-card combo or some janky combo that takes a bunch of work and effort to set up, I think that's a very different story. Like, I think combos like that are actually very much a positive, that are perfectly fine and that most people would accept. So I think it really depends on the specific combo you're playing. I think that's the question. Like, how fast is it? How many pieces is it? How consistent is it? I think that's really the question. Because In reality, what is the difference? What is the difference between on turn 10 of a commander game? What's the difference between someone playing a Craterhoof and smashing you and someone, whatever, fractured identitying a Phage and killing the table? I don't think there's really any difference, right? It's like the same thing, and the game's got to end at some point. So I think that combos, to some extent, get a bad rap, because people think of the really busted, super fast, degenerate ones, and not about the, like, slower, jankier, fair ones. Speaking of infinite combos, I've got this in Historic. Ooh, let me see Beam Juice. Solemn Mill combo. Ooh, Solemnity is one of my favorite cards. We just played Solemnity this week with Phyrexian Unlife on the YouTube. Also, I'm doing reminders here. A reminder that our sponsor today is Card Kingdom, and if you need a Solemnity, you can snag it over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Let's play Rugen Triome. I got your deck pulled up. Let's see. I just don't want to time out. We're running up against the clock here. Ooh, okay, so yes. So infinite persist Solemnity combo has gotten better recently with Young Wolf. That does help. Before, we only had Putrid Goblin is the only persist creature that made it a lot worse. How bad is this deck list for Historic Bombardment? Oh, so Naz, I've actually been working on Goblin Bombardment in Historic too, because I really love Goblin Bombardment. So I also have been working on it. The big missing piece is definitely Gravecrawler, to the point where I don't know if it's worth or necessary to be Zombardment. I think Goblin Bombardment's very powerful, but without Gravecrawler, my experience was, yeah, you can play some zombies if you want to, but you don't really have to be a zombie deck. Like, Gravecrawler is the reason to be a zombie. Wow, is this Eldritch Evolution? Eldritch Evolution to get... Okay, this is fine. Like, so they Eldritch Evolution, they get Yogg. We Leyline Binding the Yogg and hope for the best. Leyline Binding? Yogg? They've already played Beseiju, so that's good. So Yogg down for now. Opponent hits us. Down to 15. We draw Dress Down. Well, we will play a Flooded Strand. Pass the turn. Gonna be close. Gonna be a close one. The deck list does look sweet, though. Like, Bloodghast is a pretty good sack option. Crucius, I think, has gotten a lot better with Bowmaster being nerfed a bit. Bowmaster was the main thing, I think, that was mostly keeping it in check. Walleroots for our opponent. And Young Wolf. Whew. Opponent's got a lot of combo pieces, but no Yogg. As long as they don't have a Yogg, it can't go that poorly. Well, let's run out a Coatl, draw a card. Scalding Viper. Untap. Another Binding. Well, we're at 11? That is not a lot of life. Get in with the Coatl. Hit ya. About it. Down to 16. Well, let's play Coiling Oracle. Draw a card. I guess we need a one ring. We always need a one ring. Leyline Binding. Well, yeah, down to 9 it is. Past the turn. About it, Adepts. Would you have interest in a viewer deck for Commander Clash if it does something could result in Moto crashing and someone else winning? That does sound pretty interesting. Does this even keep us alive? I mean, this annoys our opponent, but I don't think this wins us the game. Oh, there's our Shishiro too. Oh, our opponent draw double Yogg. Opponent gets in, attacks, we block. I mean, we still just die, right? Like, they just go infinite once the Dress Down goes away. They go infinite, they draw their deck. Tutor up Blood Artist. So I feel like this was like, it saved us for half a turn, which is not long enough to win the game. We're going to die with double A-line binding in hand. Well, when Yogg decks draw a double Yogg, they're really good. Sit up for a second. Were you looking into Kami of Morning? Can be pretty nasty with lots of triggers. I didn't look into Kami of Morning. I probably should. I still have a hard time dealing with, not on a personal level, but on a content level, with how to handle the... Yeah, I think we're dead here. With how to handle the alchemy cards. Because I feel like at this point on the YouTube, I can play alchemy cards. But it has to be like one single card that's kind of like a fringe piece of the deck. Like, yeah, but if you have too much of a focus on an alchemy card, there's going to be people that they get upset about it. So I still... Well, okay. I guess we double leyline binding the Yogg. I'm still not sure this leads to us living. This is still very bad. Opponent draws a ton of cards. We waste a leyline binding. Our hand is full of nothing. Yeah, I mean, I guess we have to bounce the Strangle Root, guys. Play... Well, pass the turn. About it. Where's the one? We need the one ring. We need the one ring. We need the one ring. Why didn't we target the Geist? About it. I was hoping we'd just be able to, I was hoping we'd just be able to get rid of the Yogg without our opponent comboing, but well, that is a one ring. Well, play the one ring. That does keep us... If we win this game, we should not win this game. There is no way we should win this game. That should not be an actual possibility. But there is a one ring now. So with a one ring, who knows? Anything can happen once the one ring comes down. We've gone through two Yoggs. We've gone through two Yoggs. About it. Craig's Verdant Catacombs. And... Oh, not another Yogg. 3 Yogg. Oh. Well, okay. When Yogg draws 3 Yoggs, you're definitely not going to win. And Blood Artist... Does Blood Artist... Let me read Blood Artist. Does Blood Artist just kill us even through the one ring? Target player. So it kills us on our upkeep. Well, I'm pretty sure we're dead. Yeah, Yoggtron pretty tough trod. My biggest thing is that all the decks at the table are roughly the same power. It usually takes just playing with friends to really get it even. But outside of that, I'm not really salty about much in EDH. Yeah, I mean, that's the best place to be in Commander. Ideally, everyone will be like kind of roughly balanced, and that'll lead to a good game. All right, opponent doing all their Yogg stuff. Passing the turn. So we do have the Endurance, which, in theory, can fizzle their combo. Let's draw with the one ring. No one ring, though. So, yeah, we're dead. We can't stop all the damage. Like, so we can Endurance if our opponent tries to combo kill. But this all still just leads to us dying. Well, okay, 1, 2, 3. They just have too many creatures, yeah. All right. Fair enough, Yogg, fair enough. Yeah, it almost seems like it would be worth it to run Zulaport Cutthroat. Apparently, Snakes and Yogg are pretty even, because we're hour and 45 minutes, 2 matches, both of them against Yogg, and we're 1-1. Oh, so I have a bit of a stream update for the future. So I think... Moving forward, a little bit of a stream schedule change. So for the time being, I think the plan for the stream is, Oh boy, I'm getting scammed. I think the plan of the stream is Tuesday stream gonna be like normal, but I think we're going to only do one stream a week for the foreseeable future. So I think this will most likely be the last of the regularly scheduled Thursday streams. Double grief, very sad. So I think there might be some special stuff. Definitely want to watch like spoiler streams. Might do some co streaming of like WotC events and stuff. But I think it's just kind of ended up in a position where, yeah, it's just ended up in a position where there's so much that I'm trying to do with other stuff for Goldfish, between the content manager stuff and the YouTube stuff and all the new stuff we're working on, that unfortunately I think the thing that that ends up getting cut is one of the streams of the week. Oh no, not scaling back content. No, content, there will be just as much content as ever. If anything, the shifting priorities of only streaming once a week will open up the possibility of even more content. I think the actual bottom line really is like, well, these ley bindings might be able to save us. I mean, we're still at 16. We can ley binding a grief. We got a shot. We might get double griefed on turn 1 and still be okay, as odd as that sounds. So really, when it comes down to it, is there's a lot of time with you've probably seen some of the non-gameplay videos on the YouTube, the various like history videos and stuff like that. Stuff like that's been like pretty popular, and people seem to really like it. At the same time, it's just like really time consuming. So we've added like that stuff to the YouTube. In the last like couple of years, we've added the Commander Clash podcast. So we've just added all this other stuff, and there's a bunch of other new stuff that we want to work on. And I think when you put it all together on a list, the thing that ends up making the most sense to shift around to have time to do other things is just one of the 2 streams a week. So it makes me sad because, wait, we can't actually cast this? We can't. It makes me sad because my favorite part of streaming is just hanging out with all of you. So that's, for me, that's the highlight, is just we get to hang out and have a good time. So I don't want the stream to go away altogether. There's no I don't want it to go away. So the stream's not ending, but just due to changing priorities, I think it's going to have to be a typical week, once a week. And then there might be some special occasions where we do a co-streaming thing, or a special stream where we'll have an extra stream thrown in. How's the YouTube streaming been for you, Doug? That's something else I considered. We've been thinking about this and talking about it and trying to figure it out. There's been, oh boy, that was I considered like, what about streaming on YouTube? Would that be a better option? Is there another way to do it? Is there a way to like do a stream that is like also for YouTube? I don't know. I tried to think through all the possibilities, but is the Tuesday stream at the same time as this one? The Tuesday streams a bit earlier typically. Tuesday streams 2 p.m. Eastern time. So it's kind of 2 to 5-ish or something. Yeah, I figured if we're going to one stream a week, I really wanted to keep the earlier one, because I know a lot of people, oh god, Ragavan. I know a lot of people from Europe like to watch, and one bit of feedback I had gotten many times is the Thursday stream too late for European viewers. So I figured if we had to do one, I wanted it to be a time that was at least somewhat European friendly. Yeah, no double dipping, unfortunately. For a long time, if you were partnered with Twitch, you couldn't even stream on YouTube, period. That was not an option. It was not legally allowed. So One Ring, that's a pretty good magic card. A good enough magic card that I think we're going to play it. This deck feels a little A little dirty. Like, yes, we are playing a lot of snakes, for sure. There's no doubt about it. We are a snake deck, but it's kind of the busted cards that are doing the work. If it was a choice between spoiler videos and streams, I would 100% do away with spoiler videos. Interesting. So the thing is, like, the spoiler videos are just, a lot of people really like them. That's kind of that's also the challenge of balancing just so many different outlets and so many different desires. Like, some people really love the stream, some people really love spoiler videos. How do you balance all this stuff? How do you find the right mix? So that's kind of the stuff we're trying to work through. I mean, I think part of the challenge is Magic streaming in general is just has not done as much as it used to, if that makes sense. Like, just in general, I think, and I don't know why this is Magic just not a great game for streaming? But if you look, let me see if I can pull this up. I was looking at this earlier. Like, if you look at, there's a site called Twitch Tracker. I guess we just get rid of the Ragavan. Don't really need to be getting hit by that. Get rid of the Ragavan. So if you look on Twitch Tracker, the numbers are actually it's kind of wild to see. All right, we'll pass the turd. So I think when it comes down to it, at this point, Magic is just way more popular on YouTube than Twitch, if that makes sense. So if you go to Magic the Gathering and look at its numbers on Twitch, it's been a pretty big, like, so this is a pre-Arena era, just kind of bouncing around. Arena came out. The peak Arena was like an average of maybe 13,000 viewers right after Arena came out. And then if you just go through the next few years, it has gotten down to about 4,000 viewers on average. Sometimes you see the spikes is when they do like a pro tour or something, but like on average, somewhere around 4,000 viewers, maybe in between 4,000 and 5,000. So it's really just much less interest in Magic streaming. So I don't know if it's like, yeah, I don't know why Magic is just not doing well on Twitch. Live spoiler videos. That could be sweet. I wonder, yeah, I don't know. I haven't figured it out. Twitch has changed demographically. I wonder if it's like, I've always viewed Twitch as very spiky when it comes to gameplay. And I think that Magic is getting less and less spiky. Like, on Twitch, there's no editing. You gotta sit there for hours and watch someone play a game. There's no speeding it up. There's no cutting out the boring parts or anything like that. You gotta really be enfranchised, I think, to enjoy that. When on YouTube, you can edit out all the boring stuff. You can speed it up so it's, instead of you take a 2 hours of source footage and get it down to a 30-minute video or a 20-minute video, or if you're Phil, a 10-minute video. And it makes it a lot easier for people who aren't as enfranchised to watch. Twitch feels awful for MTG Discovery because the new person will join the stream and understand nothing. I think they run into that same issue with the Pro Tour, really. Yeah, I guess there's also been the rise of non-gameplay content, the just chatting aspect of Twitch. So we're at 4. We need to not die to the One Ring. We need to not die to this Reflections. Well, let's draw with the One Ring. We're fine. We're fine. That's a bunch of lands. How do we not die to all of this stuff is the question. I guess we only go to 2 from the One Ring, technically. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we only have 1 white source? That's also awkward. All right, so Flooded Strand, crack Flooded Strand. Get a Plains. This might be good enough. So we get a Snow-Covered Plains. 1, 2, 3. Play Teferi. So Teferi bounces the One Ring. We play Scalding Viper in Leyline Binding. Teferi bounce the One Ring. Play a Scalding Viper. Pass the turn. Hot tub stream. See, maybe it's me. Maybe I just haven't kept up with the trends in streaming. Not enough hot tubs. Not enough hot tubs. I don't even have a hot tub. That would make it hard to hot tub stream. Not having a hot tub, that's a pretty meaningful drawback, I think. So opponent's gonna evoke this Fury. They're gonna kill our stuff. I assume they're going to try to copy it. And then we are going to Leyline Binding to get rid of the Fury so we don't die. So, Fury out of here. We do lose our board awkwardly. Not dead yet. Not dead yet. Opponent, pass it. Well, guess what? We have a One Ring. We still have a One Ring. Just have a kiddie pool in the room and hang out with Bear. That would actually be kind of fun. Just hanging out with Bear. Bear does love the water more than just about anything. I think if you were gonna tier list things Bear loves, it's probably food, anything involving water, and then me. I think those are the big three in Bear's life. Those are the big three. And I'm pretty sure I'm number 3. I know he loves me, but boy, he gets so excited. He just loves water. Anything to do with water. Loves it, loves it, loves it. I don't even know why. I don't understand why he is so obsessed with water, but he certainly is. Now, pass the turn. So I don't know. Things could change. Things could change in the future. Maybe there's a change of plans. Maybe we try streaming on YouTube. Maybe we go back up to 2 streams. Maybe we, I don't know, cancel the YouTube and just stream 24 hours a week. But I think for the short term, I think the plan is just Tuesday streams and then some special bonus streams. Do I still have CC? I do. I will say, CC she's adjusted. She is adjusted, and I think she's actually doing super well now. I think I mentioned before, she used to drive me super crazy. Every night, CC would wake me up multiple times and just meow and meow. So obnoxious. Oh, this One Ring of death. The One Ring of death. Well, I mean, I guess we got to keep drawing cards, right? So draw with the One Ring. We got to hit an answer to our One Ring with our One Ring. And then we can untap the One Ring. Actually, wait, how much mana do we have? Green, white, blue, red. This might actually be a better plan. Let's play Beseju. Oh no, the One Ring kills us on our upkeep. Well, no. I think this is actually correct. We have 2 options here. So option number 1 is we untap the One Ring, draw 3 more cards. We need to hit a One Ring or a Teferi. I guess in theory, the Coatl could keep us alive, but it's not super likely. The other option is we Prismatic Ending our own One Ring, and then use the rest of our mana to flash in a Coatl to make sure we don't die if they have a removal spell for this Coatl. I think I like that better. All right, let's play Beseju. I think that's better. Play Beseju. This is so awkward. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Prismatic Ending our own One Ring, because we have this Shishiro in hand. So get rid of the One Ring. Pass the turn. Chump block the Fury. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Who built this mana pit? Oh no! After all of that, we don't have any green mana. Do we not have any green Triumphs in this deck? Okay, so we gotta remember, Triumphs never make green in this deck. Triumphs never make green. Yeah, I guess that was definitely a pun. That was actually a bad pun because we were talking through all of those lines too. We talked through every one of those. We had a plan and we knew what we were trying to do. It just did not work because of the mana. So far we have not seen many snakes going off. Too big brain, too big. 500 IQ for a second. All right, scam away, Rakdos. How do you feel? What do you feel about a deck like this? Does this deck feel snaky to you? We have a lot of snakes in our deck, but at the same time, like, yeah, I feel like the Triumphs in this deck are wrong. I always feel like we should be able to... It's very awkward to me that we have double green cards in our sideboard and our Triumphs don't have green mana. Very weird. Like, green is a color that we care about. All right, do your thing, opponent. Do your thing. Wow, no scamming. No scamming on turn one. Yeah, that's one of the things I dislike about current Modern is I feel like... How do you... I think one of the biggest current challenges in Modern is how do you make the cool things work without playing the busted things? That's one of the biggest challenges in current Modern brewing. I think if you think of it like Legacy, where you can do a lot of things if you play the busted cards, it all kind of makes sense. But if you think of it like I don't know, standard or something, where it's like, oh, if you're playing Shieldred, it's not going to be spicy no matter what. Modern becomes very, very challenging. Every deck starts with 54 cards and 4 rings. I will say that seeing WotC out of the blue and pretty aggressively rebalance the One Ring and Bowmasters, they're going to ban it. There's no way. I would pretty much bet my collection. Oh dear. Well, we can bounce it with Teferi. I would pretty much bet my collection that before Modern Horizons 3 releases, it will be banned. I would be absolutely, completely, totally floored if the One Ring is legal when Modern Horizons comes out. Floored. I wouldn't believe it. I don't think it's possible. So I think it's a short-term thing. There's no way. Did I get your email? Yes. I haven't. I know I still have emails to get to, but I did, Doug. I'll respond to it soon. But I do like the Aristocrats idea. It does sound sweet. Well, let's draw with the One Ring. Untap. I don't even know if Blood Moon's that good against us. Like, it's fine, but I don't know if it's that good. Play the Triome. Well, I mean, we can just Leyline Binding the Blood Moon. This is like the weirdest scam hand. I don't know what our opponent's doing here. Aspiring Spike said, Up a Beanstalk's the best card printed in Modern since MH2. Wow. Not since Lord of the Rings? What about the One Ring and Bowmasters? I mean, Up a Beanstalk has definitely proven himself to be very powerful, that's for sure. I don't know if I would agree with since. since that long ago, though. That's the One Ring isn't the One Ring stronger than Up a Beanstalk? It's gotta be. Because the Up a Beanstalk, One Ring can theoretically work in like any deck, right? Up a Beanstalk only works in a pretty small subset of decks. But still, it is certainly a very, 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 very strong card. There's no doubt about it. It is overperformed. You think Beanstalk is better than the One Ring? What is the argument for Beanstalk over the One Ring, though? Oh boy, this is actually us is brutal. This is maybe we should just focus on looping the One Ring. That might actually be the strongest thing this deck does. Is we can just like One Ring, bounce it with Scalding Viper, replay it. Maybe that's the real power of Snakes. Maybe we're focused too much on playing, Snakes and doing cool things when we actually should be focused on how many times can we bounce the One Ring? Which artifact is better, Memory Jar or the One Ring? Is Tolarian Academy legal in your format? I mean, I think if you took and put Memory Jar into current modern, the One Ring. If you took and put the One Ring into Urza's block standard, the opposite. It would be Memory Jar by a mile. So I think it really depends on the context. Memory Jar was busted, yeah. You had Megrim, you had Academy to like just make an ungodly amount of mana. So I think in that context, I think it's better. But I think overall, like without that context, I think it is a oh no. This Blood Moon, though. So, well, I guess we draw with the One Ring. This Blood Moon is doing a good job of annoying us. I will give it credit for that. So we can Steam Clean the Blood Moon. Play a Coiling Oracle to draw a card. Play a Scalding Viper. I mean, I guess we just keep doing this. We can do it all day. Hit you for one. Actually, we can't do it all day because we'll die to the One Ring, but we know for most of the day. About it. Let's discard and discard. Opponent. We're kind of okay with our opponent just recasting, but like our opponent's not doing anything. At this point, I think we're kind of okay with like bounce the Blood Moon, bounce the Blood Moon, opponent replays Blood Moon, bounce the Blood Moon, opponent replays Blood Moon. We're drawing 3 cards a turn. We're gonna get Scalding Viper damage. So there probably is a point where we need to Prismatic Ending away the Blood Moon, but over the short term, the tempo advantage of our opponent just spending their turn playing a Blood Moon with us just easily being able to bounce it and keep adding to the board, I think that's actually a positive for us. Our opponent has actually made another game action though, so the plan might have to change at some point now that our opponent's actually griefing. We might have to switch to Scalding Viper, picking up the One Ring here. MX3 card prediction, Mount Doomhole. Exile all One Rings. I wonder if they would print that narrow of a hate card. Well, let's play this crack. It reminds me of like Apocalypse Chime or something, just hating on one specific set. Well, let's Steam Clean the One Ring, pick it back up, replay the One Ring, get some protection, and Go to combat, hit you with the Coatl. Play another Viper. I mean, if our opponent plays a Blood Moon, they do have to take 2 damage from our Scalding Vipers. And we're stacking up our basics now, so Blood Moon's like losing its luster here. Hey, what's up, Gray Cabs? How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Can't see Beanstalk being better. Scam cannot even play it, but you can play Ring. Between where Utility, Protection, Ring is better. I mean, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't think that Beanstalk is bad. Beanstalk is very good, and I definitely underrated it during spoiler season. I was kind of like, whatever. Like, is it even good? It seems fine. It's definitely really, really strong. And once you stack up a couple of those on the battlefield, it feels really hard to lose if you're in a deck that is built around it. At the same time, like, it doesn't go in every deck. Dean Annabus, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Good to see you. Good to see you for the 4th month. Big scoops here for you. Thank you. How are things? Oh, about it. Fable the Mirror Breaker. I mean, we are just kind of grinding him out, I think. All right, we're not going to draw with the 1. We have 7 cards in hand. We're not going to draw this turn. We can answer the Blood Moon if we need to. We really just want to... kill our opponent. Can we kill our opponent? That would be the best outcome. So, Breeding Pool. Untapped. White, green, whatever. I guess blue. Get rid of the Blood Moon. So Blood Moon down. Prismatic Ending. Get rid of the Goblin. Scalding Viper. I think we're just going for it. Is there a way we die here? Bounce the Grief. Go to combat. Hit ya. About it. Down to 6. Run out Viper number 3. And... pass the turn. So opponent can cast 2 cheap spells and they're dead. Seems like a nice value deck. Yeah, I mean, it's doing nice value-y things. Although, I'm a little disappointed we haven't seen more cool snake things. But the deck, like, it's functioning well, which I guess isn't a surprise considering we got the 1 ring and so forth. But I was kind of open to see more, like, Shishiro's going off. The opponent has a Fury. Refusing to die, unfortunately. All right, there goes our board, mostly. Coiling Oracle survives. Well, we're going to go back to doing 1 ring things, I guess. Flooded Strand. Untapped down to 6. Even more lands. Well, draw with the 1 ring. Coiling Oracle, draw a card. Here comes the Snakes. There's another 1 ring. I guess we play another 1 ring because it's really good. Keep the new 1 ring. Yep. Run out a Coiling Oracle to draw a card. And then, there's Elesh Norn. We finally hit a mom. Play the Beseiju. Pass the turn. Can't take any damage because of the 1 ring. But the 1 ring doesn't go in every deck. For example, Scam doesn't play it even though it's technically able to. I mean... what is the actual play rate on Up a Beanstalk? I'm curious. I'm going to have to look. Like, is it actually seeing that much play? All right, another Fable. Up a Beanstalk. So right now, Up a Beanstalk, 14% of decks. 1 ring, 31. I mean, a card can be really busted in a specific archetype, right? Like, I think there was a time where Hogak was clearly the best card in Modern. Like, no one would even argue. Hogak, definitely the best card in Modern. At the same time, only 1 deck played it. There was a lot of decks that couldn't play it. So, It's possible that Up a Beanstalk is like the best card since Modern Horizons, but also not played in as many decks as the One Ring. Although I would say my personal take would be that Up a Beanstalk really good, but the best card since the One Ring and Bowmasters rather than since Modern Horizons. Well, let's Ice Pink Quaddle, draw a card. Gotta play around the stump. Okay, opponent has a Bowmasters. Yep. Well, it hurts a little bit. I mean, we do have this Leyline Binding, so we can't answer it. We draw a card. Opponent's going to snipe our stuff. Do we end up winning this or not? Or is this just a deck that we time out with every time we play it on stream? All right, untap. One ring. No damage. All right, opponent. What do you got? Is this game one? Are we at 8 minutes on the clock in game one? Did you see the card market video where they match up Hogak for Scam? Scam crushed Hogak. Ooh, I didn't actually see that video, but how did Scam crush Hogak? Do they have graveyard hate? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Elesh Norn. Step 1. Step 2. Leyline Binding. Actually, okay. Oh, Xander Sanchez in the graveyard. All right, 1, 2. Step 2. Think you gotta be careful how you tap. 1, 2. Leyline Binding. Double trouble. Opponent cracks down to 5. Blood Crypt down to 3. Wow! They have a Terminate! They actually have a Terminate. Okay. Well, we're going to get rid of the Bowmasters, but we actually might be dying now. One ring draw. Shishiro. Not the best time for Shishiro. Wait, does this mean we're dead? Because they have this reflection. Probably. We're probably dead. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, let's play Teferi. Teferi. Bounce the reflection. Draw a Coatl. Pass the turn. Yeah, I mean, if they can kill the coin. Who plays Terminate? Who plays Terminate? Punted by not playing Teferi first. I mean, if we played Teferi first, they probably would have killed Elesh Norn. About it. Grief returns. I would be surprised if they let it live. Finn the Fangbearer is a fun card that has toxic and... Finn the Fangbearer is fun with cards that have toxic and... Toxic and Death Touch. Hi. Alright. Alright. Snakes. Yeah, Finn is definitely a cool card. Toxic and Death Touch is a neat way to try to double up your damage with Finn. His new deck, when he's cascading Bloodwing Elf and Shardless Agent into Up a Beanstalk, is crazy good. None of those cards even trigger Up a Beanstalk, though. I mean, I guess it's... Like, in that chain, wouldn't you rather have Ice Pink Quaddle or something? Or, like, literally any ETB draw a card thing? Oh, I think your deck list link might be messed up, Dane. I'm seeing a 404 page Lost But Seeking. What is triggering Up a Beanstalk? Like, Up a Beanstalk, you gotta be triggering it for it to be worth it, right? What is the 5 mana stuff? Those are just a bunch of evoke elementals, probably. Opponent. All right, on to match 4. I mean, that is a cool way to find an up a beanstalk for sure. Like, if you just really, if you want to have the up a beanstalk, that is going to get there. Hey Seth, I know I asked you more than once, but here's the list I was hoping you would check out. Hey, let me take a look, Starhopper. Well, we're gonna keep this. I mean, I think it's 1,000,000% correct to put Shishiro to the bottom, but I really want to see Shishiro do. I'm gonna be disappointed if we go through this whole league and Shishiro doesn't do anything. So, despite the fact that we might get punished and lose as a result, we are going to hold on to this 6 drop because we just really, I mean, we came here to snake. We came here to try to play snakes, and we really want to see the snakes do something. The Electric Eye. Ooh, some Brea commandering, eh? I mean, Brea is a really strong, really strong commander. Urza Saga. Yup. About it. Hangerback Walker. Sure. Well, crack the Misty Rainforest. Grab a semi-helpful Triome. Force of Negation. Well, Windswept Heath. So we have white, green, red. This would have to get, or white, green, blue. This could get green and black. I don't think we have green and black, though. Well, let's just pass. Yeah, I think the Triumph could be slightly different in the deck. But, Brea looks super fun. Yeah, Brea's a super fun commander. It's hard, very hard on stream with a 100-card singleton deck to really go over a commander deck card by card, but it looks like a super fun Brea deck. Like, play a bunch of artifacts, do a bunch of cool Brea things. What's your favorite card in the deck? Opponent. Urza Saga taken up. Here's Spike Stack. Ooh, let me take a look. Opponent. Gets in. Sure. Yeah, we'll just take it for now. Down to 18. While they're passing. Was not expecting the pass. Well, let's grab a green and white source. Untap. We're gonna have to deal with these Urza Sagas. Potentially 2 of them. Well, go Coiling Oracle. Save us, Snake. Save us. You can do it. You can beat these huge constructs. I think we want to hit a land. Ideally, we'd hit a land. Prismatic Ending. Well, Prismatic Ending's okay. I guess we can Prismatic Ending the Hanger back, probably. At least it gets something off the board, which is relevant. An artifact off the board. We always kill the Ozolith later with a Leyline Binding, so I think this is fine. Opponent doesn't get any Thopters. Shrink the constructs and see what happens. Well, that's what we got. Hope for the best. 4-color Cascade. Yeah, I mean, that definitely a lot of value. Looks like a modern deck. Oh, modern. Teferi. Teferi. Solitude. Omnath. Fury. So I guess there's a lot of evoke stuff. So I assume the idea is you kind of just try to cascade into up a beanstalk, and then that makes your evoke elementals very cheap to evoke. Your your removal spells are, instead of costing you cards or drawing you cards, seems pretty powerful. Here's one that's more in your line. Oh, let me see, Doug. About it. Gonna make another construct. Sure. Seth, I have a commander question. I have a Kozilek control deck, and I'm wondering if it would be better to swap Kozilek and Zoldyck. I play Zoldyck in my deck, and he's insanely powerful. So, probably. Zoldyck is very strong. I think you would want to kind of just look and count and check how many things do I have that are going to trigger it. That's the only question. Like, as long as you have enough expensive stuff, which I think the typical Eldrazi deck most likely will, but as long as you have enough expensive stuff to regularly trigger it, I would say that it is probably worth switching, especially if you're trying to build the most powerful version of the deck possible. But yeah, Zoldyck's really good. It's doing what 4/5 color Omnith decks are doing, except you're getting 2/2 and 3/2 beats along the way. Ugh, Ravager, eh? Okay. Usually no good thing happens once a Ravager comes down. We only have one Leyline Binding. Opponent has a bunch of 5/5s, goes attacking. Are we literally dead? 1 and... Well, 1, 2. Run out of Icewind Quaddle. Draw a card. Leyline Binding. Unfortunately, 2 manas. Get rid of... Do we deal with the Ravager or a Construct? So they... If a modular triggers, would put a counter on something, that much +1 instead. So they can sack this in this. I mean, I guess we got to get rid of the Construct first. Yep, opponent sacks. It does temporarily shrink it. And then we'll block. We can't just die here, right? We drop to 10. We lose the Oracle. Shadow Sphere. And a Stomping Grounds. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Manamo. Well, play Manamo. Yeah, I don't think we can overcome this one. Let's run out the Icewind Quaddle. See what we draw. Our opponent just has too many threats here, and we don't have any 1 rings. Elesh Norn. All right. Well, we'll see. Maybe our opponent punts somehow. I want to get into sharing decks. What do you think of this Pioneer Cauldron deck? Well, let me see, Dries. All right, opponent's going to make that huge. Goes to combat. I mean, so we can Leyline Binding again? I guess, to try to stay alive? Ugh. Had to spend 2 Leyline Bindings to deal with an Urza Saga. And our opponent got Zabaz out of it, so that's not good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Block. I don't know if there's a card in our deck that stops us from dying here, though. So we stay at 10 for now. Opponent. Hanger back. Yeah. That definitely does it. Do we have Artifact Hate in our sideboard? Is there Artifact Hate somewhere? Scalding Viper. That doesn't change anything. Cauldron combo. Let me see, Dries. Ooh, so doing some Pioneer Cauldron comboing, eh? So it's kind of similar to the standard version, like kind of trying to do the same thing of making infinite mana with a with Soul Cauldron and things that tap for a bunch of mana. Dane sent the mill list. Wait. Well, what was the mill list? I'm confused. I didn't notice the mill list. Cauldron combo 2.0. Yeah, it does look sweet. It reminds me very much of the standard one, except you just get some little upgrades across the board. Like Incubation Druid is a better combo piece. Glimmerbell, another untapper. How was it? How was it work for you, Dryce? Have you gotten a chance to play with it yet? Ooh, MH2 version of Restore Balance. I do love Restore Balance. Why do you delete my decks off Goldfish, then repost them as your own decks with weaker and less versatile cards? That's not even a thing that I could do. I couldn't even. I don't have the ability to delete decks off of Goldfish, but if I did, I would definitely not delete your decks. How are you tonight, Judge Fudge? How's your evening? What do we have to deal with? So Dress Down seems decent. Oh, we don't really have Artifact hate though. Dress Down seems good. The rest of our deck does not seem especially strong. Subtlety? Is that even worth it? Chalice? What about Charmaw? Can this deal with our Urza Saga problem? Cost one less for each lane your opponent controls. It could produce one. Or one colorless. So maybe two less. I don't know if that's worth it or not. I mean, let's try one of them. Let's try one. It's probably again correct to cut a Shishiro, but I really wanna see Shishiro go off. Like that's the whole point. That's the whole point. We really want to see the snakes do the snake thing at least once. All right, we got some removal, which is good. So updated Restore Balance, eh? That looks solid. I mean, like all of the Cascade decks, the Cascade decks have just got so much better. Like, there's so many interactive spells now that do not mess with Cascade, especially cascading into like a free spell, but are still really good, like Fury and Subtlety. Yeah, I mean, it looks good. It looks like a very solid Cascade deck. Plus, you get the border post. Border posts are so cool. I've always been a big border post fan. Yeah, I look solid to me. I like it. I do like Restore Ballads. Out of all the free spells to cascade into, Restore Balance is definitely my favorite. Affinity to Squirtle, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big scoop cheer for you. Thank you. It feels pretty spectacular when it goes off, but it can't beat Karn. Yeah, not being able to beat Karn is the story of my life, so don't feel bad. Karn is very, very difficult for any artifact deck to beat. I think we're actually just going to run out the Scalding Viper. Chip in for some damage. Yeah, I think it finally went through. Sometimes Twitch is very odd, but I think it ended up going through eventually. Ozolith, all right. Not the well, that one's pretty scary. I was gonna say not the scary one, but that one is also pretty scary. They're both very good in this deck. Snow-covered Island, get in, hit you with a Viper. See, that's a snake attack. That is a snake attack. We get in, hit you. We Prismatic Ending. The Ozolith, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth it. Prismatic Ending the Ozolith. If they play Hangerback Walker or something, that would be bad news. Pass the turn. About it. Am I a Doctor Who expert already? I'm getting there. I've watched 2 episodes. I watched the Blink episode. That one was really good. And then I watched like the first episode of the season with I think it's the 11th Doctor. That one had a very different tone. A much lighter, goofier tone, really. I think I will probably watch some more. I'm kind of in between, I think, with Doctor Who. I enjoyed the episodes that we watched, but it also wasn't one of those things where I watched it and I was like, wow, this is my new favorite show of all time or something. But I enjoyed it enough that I was like, okay, I think I'll probably try to find some more interesting episodes of the show and give it another try. So I haven't done it yet, but more Doctor Who is on the to-do list. Well, let's get in. If our opponent trades, that's fine. At least it gets the counters onto one thing, so we can maybe answer it with Leyline Binding. Or our opponent just takes it. That also, I guess it depends on their hand. If they got another Zabaz, they definitely will block, or likely will block. There are amazing episodes, fine episodes, and bad ones like any show. Yeah, I think like Doctor Who probably has it worse than most, just because it has such an amazingly huge amount of episodes. Like, there's no way you can make so many seasons of a TV show and not have some duds in with the great ones and in with the average ones. So I think that's probably to be expected with a show that has so much going on. Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Very good in these decks for sure. Soul Cauldron is definitely overperformed. I think everyone expected it to all right. To be good in like hardened scales, that was like the obvious. Yeah, sure, of course it's going to be good there. But it is really taken off in a lot of different ways. Definitely the most impactful card. There was an argument for like Beseech the Mirror, that maybe Beseech the Mirror would be the number one card out of the set, but it turns out that it's... do we just have to pass? This Ink Moth is scaring me. They can Soul Cauldron, put counters on that. Yeah, I guess we just pass. This Charge Buff, if we had another red source, would actually be good. What's the best modern deck right now? So, I think the best modern deck right now is just like 5-color pile of value-y stuff. Actually, number 1 is probably Scam. I think Scam is number 1, and then number 2 is just like 4 or 5-color pile of One Rings and so forth. I would say that's the top tier of the meta. Maybe Rhinos is also in the top tier, but I think those are like the biggest decks. Yeah, Yag is a good home for Cauldron as well. Yeah, I feel like Scam I think is still number 1. Money Pile's probably number 2. I would say those are like the top 2 decks of the meta. I think there's like maybe you say that Scam is like S+ tier, and then Money Pile or like 4 or 5 color or whatever you want to call it, Omnath, One Ring stuff. Maybe that's S tier, and then everything else is A or below. But I think those two were like the clear number 1 and number 2 decks in the format. Opponent's kind of going off over there. I guess should have been paying a little more attention to what our opponent was up to. Okay. Go after the Soul Cauldron. The Soul Cauldron is pretty explosive. Opponent gonna eat a Zabaz to put a counter on things. Yup. So Cauldron goes away. Opponent gets a Walking Ballista. It dies. Opponent hits us for 5. I mean, we're still in this. We could really use a White Source. If we can draw a White Source, we're kind of actually in, like, good shape. We draw Beseiju. Okay. Not a White Source. We actually probably don't even want to cast that, really. I guess we just pass. What a weird clunky draw. All right, pass the turn. Did you give your take on the recent Judge Probo changes? I just listened to the JudgeCast podcast. It was the Judge for almost 10 years. Such a surreal period to be back in. Yeah, I mean, so it's weird. I think my challenge with it is, like a lot of WotC announcements, we're just kind of like lacking some context, I guess. Like, so WotC deciding that Judges Academy is not the people they want running the judge program. Okay, I don't know the ins and outs of it. Maybe there's some reason that they want to switch, whoever's in charge of the judge program. The part that was very strange to me is just that they didn't really announce a follow-up. That's the really weird part. It wasn't like, okay, so we're getting rid of the judge program, but in place of it, we're going to be having this new company take over. It was just kind of like, we'll let you know in the future. And that always makes me nervous, because when Wizards announces they're getting rid of something and doesn't have an immediate replacement, I always think this means they're making it up as they go along. And you got to have judges, right? You can't not have judges. How do you run big events and not have judges? It seems impossible to me. It seems like you have to have access to judges. So it's strange. I don't have enough details to really know, but it's definitely a surprising move. And it makes me nervous that there was not a ooh, okay. And it makes me nervous that there was not another plan announced. It was the whole, we're getting rid of this, but there was no, but we're adding this. And it always makes me nervous when Wizards does that. It reminds me of when they announced the end of standard rotation. They did we're getting rid of standard rotation, and we'll let you know about the rest of it in the future. And then many, many months went by before they said anything. Stuff like that just always makes me a little concerned. Well, 1, 2, 3. Actually, can we play Elesh Norn first? Is there a way? They're out of cards. You know what? We're going to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to play Elesh Norn. We're going to get poisoned like crazy. However, we get to untap and double charge maw away both Ink Moss. Can we live, please, Magic Gods? We just want to live. We want to play a snake. We want to do snake things. Opponent fires up the Ink Moss. So we take 6 poison, but that's fine. 6 poison is not lethal poison. And this does mean they're not adding counters to Ballista, which is nice. Alright, opponent hits us. Oh, actually, no, we're taking 7 poison. But that's still not lethal poison. Hardened Scales. Well, crack this. Down to 7. Grab a Temple Garden. Untap. Well, this is going to be a good charge maw. I will give it that. Is it good enough? 1, 2, 3. Charge maw. Elesh Norn on the battlefield. Blow up the Ink Moth. Blow up the other Ink Moth. So threats dealt with for now. Technically, our opponent does not have enough mana to add counters to Ballista. If they draw it, though, we're in trouble. If we can deal with this Ballista, we might be good. Opponent goes to 13. Misty Rainforest past the turret. Can we survive the Ballista? Thanks for thinking about it. If people are thinking and talking about it, hopefully Wizards. So what's your take as someone who's been a judge? Is this a bad thing for judges? That's the other thing I'm not sure about is, has anything been... do judges know more than the public does? his wizards, because I know Wizards article like expressed, we know judges are really important. They're, I forget their exact phrasing, but they're essential to running Magic events. So as someone who's been a judge for 9 years, what does this do to you, Retether? Like, what happens when there's, oh god, really? Well, I assume this means we're dead, right? It's gotta mean we're dead. So opponent gets a Soul Cauldron. They eat a Zabaz. They put 2 counters on Ballista. Well, I guess we got a top deck, and we got a top deck right now, this very second. This is it. This turn or death. Hallowed Fountain, thin the deck. Can we top deck an answer? No. Snakes, why do you curse us? It's so confusing. We have no info besides the surprise pop-up of the Judge's Foundry, which was, well, last chance for Snakes, which was kind of in the works to help create some more accountability, but it is not currently sanctioned by Wizards to do anything. So do you think it'll end up being that? Like, do you think that Judge Foundry is the new Judges Academy? Like, is that what Wizards is trying to do? I was a longtime judge, Pro Tour Worlds, etc. It's always been a bit of an afterthought. I can't imagine that Hasbro even understands why they are necessary. Yeah. I mean, maybe a lot of things in the current Magic world makes me think that maybe Wizards is trying to move towards a world where they would try to make judges not necessary. Like, I wonder, I noticed at Vegas, and this was weird to me. So I went to Magic Fest Vegas, and there was Worlds upstairs, but pretty much everyone was just playing Commander games. That was essentially what the event was about. And I don't think there were judges there. So it wasn't like you could just throw your hand up and call a judge over and ask them a question, which is different than some like SCG events I've been to. I've definitely been to commander-focused events where there's judges wandering around. If you actually have a question, someone will come over. How necessary are judges for something like a Command Fest style event? Like for a Command Fest or a how do we do this? Let's Misty Rainforest. I think we just get Temple Garden. Run out the Coiling Oracle. Draw a card. But like, it seems like they should still be necessary, right? Even as like competitive play has kind of been minimized a little bit, you would think it would still be worth having judges at like these big Command Fest style events. But maybe WotC doesn't see it the same way. I definitely feel bad for the judges because it seems like it came up out of nowhere. Like the announcement like a week ago, like, oh, by the way, Judge Academies, we're not partnering with them anymore. Maybe if you're in the judge community, maybe there was some heads up, but from the outside of someone who's not in the judge community, to me, it looked like a very big surprise. Like, where is this coming from? I didn't even realize that was like a possibility. Are you going to the summit again this year, Doug? When do I go? Where do I go to submit a deck for Commander Clash Viewer Week? So how we normally do it is when Viewer Week comes around, we usually put so you can always leave it in the article on the Goldfish site. So you can always leave your link there, but we'll put a post in the community tab on the MTG Goldfish Commander YouTube that specifically asks for deck lists, so you can leave it there as well. The other option is if you have something you want to send to a specific person, you can just email it to them. All the Goldfish crew is their first name, or I guess also their nickname, at mtggoldfish.com. So Krim at mtggoldfish.com, Seth at mtggoldfish.com, Tomer, etc., Richard, Phil, or like Saffron Olive, Asian Avenger, those also will get there. I found the link. Here is the really bad historic deck. Well, let me see Beam Juice. I'm excited to see it. Let's take a Snow-Covered Forest. Untap. Well, there's a One Ring. We can't actually get it down, but get in, hit ya. What is our opponent playing? I guess we just pass the turn and leave up the Force of Negation. Demir Mill. Ooh. I mean, modern Demir Mill's actually, it's not that bad. I think the last year is probably the best that Mill is. Is this a, oh, is this just Murktide? Maybe it's just Murktide with a weird draw. Well, was not expecting Snapcaster Mage Lightning Bolt. Bolt Snap Bolt. Have not seen this in many a year. But, yeah, that resolves. Snapcaster Mage, 2023 edition. Modern Demir Mill. I mean, Mill's actually not that bad, though. It's gotten way better. Opponent goes attacking. Maybe this isn't Murktide. Is this just like, is it control? Opponent passes. Well, 1, 2, and this is not good. Not good in many ways. Because we just can't resolve anything. Well, how do we do this? How do we not die is the real question. So we can play Scalding Viper. Just stay on defense. Leave up Force Negation. We can play Teferi, gets countered. Play One Ring would be nice, that gets countered. We can play Teferi. I mean, I guess we play Teferi. I don't think we can just sit on this Force Negation, especially when we're missing land drops. So I think we play Teferi. Opponent. Show us the counter. Or they could just have a bunch more bolts, I guess. Okay, opponent has a counter. And then, well, 1, 2. Prismatic ending Snapcaster? Was not expecting to be saying that today, that's for sure. I mean, the mill deck looks sweet, though. Seems pretty good to me. The crabs can do a lot of work. Tasha's Hideous Laughter, Fractured Sanity. They really powered up Mill. To the point where it's like, not a tier 1 archetype in Modern, but it actually is like a pretty competitive archetype. Is Snapcaster budget yet? Lightning Bolt's budget. That's our real problem here, is we're just getting bolted brutally. Snapcaster is a lot cheaper, right? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, $50. Maybe even less. That's the Innistrad version. Yeah, about $15. Well, okay. Snapcaster in 2023. Is there like a Snapcaster deck that's popular now? Well, maybe this might be fairies. Someone played a fairies deck recently. It's probably this. This deck has, so it's kind of like, that's kind of a neat deck. I mean, so it's kind of like loosely fairy counter burn Snapcasters. Is it control? I guess is it control would be a thing to call it. But it's like very burn heavy. Like it's playing burst lightnings. So kind of like a weird take on, it's like Murktide, but with Snapcasters and a bunch of burn spells instead of the more typical Murktide spells. How do we deal with that, though, is the question. Snakes. This is your last chance, Snakes. It is now or it is literally now or never. I think we Chalice on 1 seems, well, is that even good enough? They do have a lot of 1-drops. Veto would be okay, but that also doesn't stop all the 1-drops. Maybe go down the Elesh Norn. Teferi is great. Force Negation is probably necessary. Maybe go down the Subtlety. Probably correct to cut a Shishiro, but we can't. We just can't do it. We can't do it. We want to see the snakes go off. We need to see the snakes go off. Yeah, Snapcaster with Flame of Manor seems good. Well, 1 land, but can't keep. Oh, no. Our snake dreams are dying. Had a guy tap out when he was at 12. Bolt, snap, bolt, upkeep, Wizard's Lightning, snap, Wizard's Lightning. Yeah, that'll do it. That will do it. Down to 5. Well, snakes, I think we've been betrayed. We've been betrayed by the snakes. Lad, go. Wait, what is this deck, Beeb? Oh wait, I'm so confused. I clicked on the mill deck. Neo Bantuff. Let me see. We haven't actually looked at this deck list. What is considered a fast kill? I mean, turn 2 would be definitely considered a fast kill. Well, that is a spicy pile. It is that deck, right? Sleep Cursed Fae. Well, playing the land past the turn. Seraph Skyblade's a cool card. So the idea is hopefully play a bunch of cheap flyers, play a Seraph Skyblade, and then that you can pay for 1 mana tapping 4 flyers, and then sack it to get the Crater Hoof. That's definitely a super cute idea. That is a super cute idea. How it seems like it's one of those decks where it should be super explosive when it works. How have you got to play it much? Like, have you been able to combo off with it? The question, I guess, is probably going to be consistency. Like, the turn 2 kill seems spectacular. I also like that it's, even for Arena, it's fairly budget friendly because you're just playing all the cheap flyers to support the plan. That's definitely a neat idea. Yeah, actually getting the turn 2's got to be, you got to have a lot of 0 mana flyers, right? It seems like that would be necessary. You have to draw just all the 0 mana flyers. Let's take a plains. Let's run out a One Ring. Wow, resolves. Was not expecting that. Okay, pass the turn. Well, opponent's on 1 land. We're on the 1 ring. I hit Mythic on Arena with mono black and mono white art. Wow, opponent scoops it up. Still no snakes, though. It was a win, but it was not a snake win. I hit Mythic on Arena with mono black, mono white artifacts. I use Underworld Dream, and I let opponent draw a card to ping him. Ooh. Underworld Dreams is a fun card. I still want to build the Force Fruition deck. That might be a Underworld Dreams deck. Just to try to make it so if your opponent does anything, they die. I think it's a funny idea. I just want to find a way to do it that's not. Well, Bowmasters, I guess, got rebalanced now anyway, so it's pretty bad. But I want to find a way to do it that's not so Bowmaster and Shieldreddy. That's my main concern. I think if it's just a Bowmaster and Shieldred deck, it kind of loses a lot of its luster. Not as funny. Like, doing the funny thing with the best cards in the format's not as funny as doing the funny thing with the bad cards. Well, let's play Pasatio. You know what? Let's just make him have it. Let's make him have it. Chalice on 1 is pretty good here if it resolves. Opponent, do you have a counter? I mean, this actually might just be kind of game backbreaking for our opponent if it resolves. Chalice is funny. Everyone plays Chalice now to fight against the Cascade decks, but then there are other decks where you randomly just get him with Chalice on 1. Email me a list. Hopefully you like it enough to try it one day. I will look for it. I'm excited to see it. About it. Cracks the Flooded Strand. Expressive Iteration. And leaves the Sleep Curse Fae. Yeah, our opponent might be in a bit of trouble here. Might be in a little bit of trouble. Well, let's play a Teferi. Take it up. Pass the turn. Opponent's deck looks kind of cool. I do like the idea of it. Hey, see ya, Beam Juice. Thanks for hanging out. Hey, what's up, Rocco Justice? Good to see you. Good to see ya. Welcome to the stream. got to hit for 200 million damage in standard last night with the Devilish Valet token deck. Yeah, Devilish Valet is definitely the best card in standard, I think, for just getting that huge number of damage. Like, if you actually try to, you can, and your opponent sits through it. That's always the challenge. Do they actually sit through it? But if you actually try to, you can get a lot of damage with Devilish Valet. Yeah, we could bring in Endurance. I'm not sure if bringing in Endurance is really worth it, just because... just because I don't think our opponent's deck is that graveyard heavy. Like, yes, they have the Snapcasters, but I don't think just fighting Snap... I don't know, I guess maybe it's worth it just because it also blocks, like, Sleep Curse Fairy and so forth. Like, maybe a 3-4 reach for 3 is just that combined with maybe fizzling a Snapcaster. That might actually be enough to make it worth it. I don't know if it's worth, like... I don't know if it's worth it in general. Like, normally I wouldn't bring in, like, a Relic of Progenitus, I don't think, just to fight a Snapcaster, especially if that's the only graveyard synergy. But the Body of Endurance is nice, too, so that might be the tiebreaker. It looks like our chalice plan is... it must be slowing our opponent down, because they are not doing much of really anything here. I got my Devilish Valet in my Ishin Myriad deck. Giving Valet double Myriad is silly. Yes, I could imagine that dealing a bit of damage. Did that just kill everyone? That probably just kills the table, doesn't it? Magus the Moon. Well, okay, good thing we have a Teferi that can bounce a Magus of the Moon. Nice Fang Quaddle. Well, okay, bounce the Magus of the Moon. Draw Force of Negation. Not doing your job of drawing lands, though. This is actually very awkward. Icewind Quaddle. Draw a land. Okay, Snow-Covered Forest. Well, that's better than nothing. Go to combat, hit you with a Quaddle. That's a basic forest. There could be a world where this was the Shishiro win. We're 2 lands away. We have 2 snakes on the battlefield. If we can fight our way past this Magus of the Moon, we might be able to just drop Shishiro and finally do the snake thing. I played a deck built around Force Fruition. It was using Shielders and Bowmasters, though. Here's the deck list if you're interested. Ooh, let me see, Ninja. Oh, got the Smothering Tithe in there, too. Nice. Yeah, it's kind of roughly the idea I was thinking. Like, some way... So the idea I want to do, the main goal was to have it be so if your opponent plays any spell, they die. So I think this is kind of doing the same idea as I had. Underworld Dreams, Orcish Bowmasters, Shieldred. You play a Force Fruition with enough of those effects on the battlefield, and if your opponent plays literally any spell, they just end up losing, which I think is actually pretty hilarious. Opponent, more Magus of the Moons. More annoyances. Well, we draw Misty, so we got to cash in our Teferi, unfortunately. Bounce the Magus. Go to combat. Hit ya. Play a... The question is, do we get an island? Yeah, let's get an island. Get an island for the Scalding Viper. So get a snow-covered island. Play Coiling Oracle. And pass the turn. Come on, opponent. No Magus. Just let us play the Shishiro and get you with the snakes. Please. 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 Yeah... I was torn on getting Basic Plains or Basic Island. Basic Island gives us Scalding Viper to bounce the Magus. There's the Magus again. About it. Passes. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 ring. Opponent's going to counter. I mean, they got to counter, right? They're leaving up counterspell mana. Yep, there's the counterspell. So now we Scalding Viper, bounce the Magus. Flooded Strand. Crack the Flooded Strand. Get the Plains. I do really want to play this Shishiro, though. It's in our hand. If our opponent would just stop for one turn playing the Magus of the Moons, we could drop the Shishiro, but we don't have enough forests. Van Horizon Historic looks fine, too, with Simic Fairies. Yeah, Auras can be very explosive. Plus, Historic, you have Loris still, and Loris is very strong in decks like that. Magus of the Moon. Who would have thought? Another Magus of the Moon. Well, okay. Opponent. That 1/2. Scalding Viper. One, two, three. Prismatic Ending. And, bonus scoops it up. I mean, I guess we should be celebrating the fact that we won. Honestly, though, we didn't get to see Shishiro go off. It would have happened this game. We had the Snakes. We had the mana. The Magus of the Moon was just taxing us. So technically, we finished with a 2-3, which, I think, honestly, though... Honestly, my true feelings about this deck in the end is it feels like the money pile deck where except you took out some of the good cards like Omnath and replaced them with Snakes. It turns out even doing that, replacing your Omnaths and so forth and cascade spells with Snakes, you can still win some games because, like, the One Ring and Teferi and the strong cards, the strong removal is just so strong that if you're playing this pile, you can, with this pile of cards, I guess you can kind of play whatever you want and you're going to win some games. Although, I feel like this is one of the decks where the good cards kind of overshadowed the theme in the end. To me, it felt like bad money pile rather than Snakes, but yeah, you gotta play the One Ring to make it work. So I feel like maybe we gotta try Snakes again at some point. Maybe there's a way. How do we make it more snaky, but still have some chance to win games? Like, can we cut the fairies and the force negations and just play more Snakes? I don't know. But I feel like, yeah, that's kind of like where Modern is at the moment to some extent, where you play some of the busted cards and then try to make the cool cards work with the busted cards. I feel like maybe that's where it is, but we'll see. Anyway, I think that brings us to the end of our stream for tonight. So reminders on the way out the door. Replay YouTube. That's where you'd find all the old streams, including this one in the future. Normal YouTube. Tomorrow's deck for Much Ado was actually really sweet. Check out the Lich Knights Conquest deck. I think you're going to like it. One more reminder that their sponsor today is Card Kingdom. And if you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/FTDGoldfish. Most importantly, thank you to each and every one of you. Y'all are amazing and awesome, and I love y'all. I hope you have an amazing night. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on Tuesday to have some more fun. So until then, everyone, be good. Thanks so much for being awesome, and I will talk to you soon.